Oh, hey bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome to Happy Wednesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, all that good entertainment stuff. So if that is a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including I was like, I could put way I just realized I put way too much chapstick on my lips. And my eye all of a sudden is bothering me. Okay. So what is the tea we gonna be? Oh, we got to talk about Gayle King and that old backlash over that Blue Origin flight. So we got to talk about that and the fact that she's just tone deaf about the whole situation. The people are going in on Shirley Manson and talking about she look old and all this other stuff, and she's clapping back over that. Bobby Brown is weighing in on Britney Spears covering his song "My Prerogative." So we got to get into that. So nobody's been banned in Lebanon because of Gal Greenstein being a damn Zionist, so we got to talk about that. Plus Taylor Swift and Idris Elba. Well, I should say this: Tyra Banks recently was on a show on NBC. I think it was that what is it, George W. Bush daughter show, and she was weighing in on who she thinks should play the Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner role in the remake of The Bodyguard. So we're gonna get into that. Plus, apparently these incels out here on Wall Street are so damn dumb, and some of y'all on TikTok is not that smart either. That the director of American Psycho had to remind y'all that these Wall Street bros that are obsessed with that freaking movie, it is a satire on masculinity written by a gay man. So we got to get into that. Plus, Sean Kingston, child, back in federal custody. We got to talk about that. Nick Carter is breaking the silence after a fourth woman has accused him of the R word. We got to talk about this Billboard traveling back 20 years ago where they named Gwen Stefani Hollaback Girl as their top female song over Mariah Carey, Mary J. Blige, and Donta. And speaking of Gwen, did y'all hear she's going full on Christian, not the mingle, but she's going full on Christian. She's trying to come out with secular music, or what a bit, well, Christian music, which, girl, anyway, we'll talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about Mickey Rourke, about talking about he want to file a lawsuit against Celebrity Big Brother. Little Nas X got the Bell's palsy. We also got some good trans news in regarding that and Sophie. And the director of Fire Island is giving us an update on the sequel. So we have that and anything else, I guess, that pops off. Y'all know what to do. Put it in the chat. Also, be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button, and also smash the notification bell in case, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting in timestamps once the show is done, so that way when those who watch the playback can actually just skip through all the banter that we do during the live feed and just go right to the topics that we're going to be discussing on this show. So I do see I have comments and stuff. I'll get to that after the first topic. Let me hit my banner, and let's get into this first one, which is Gayle King out here looking like Boo the Fool, not only when she got off that damn shuttle, but when she was on her show, CBS Morning, or whatever it's called, CBS This Morning, I don't even know what it's called. Like, y'all just always got them lame names. But anyway, so yeah, Gayle King is speaking out, and based off of what she had to say on the matter, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm opening up the wrong thing. I was like, based off of what she had to say on the matter, I just felt like she was just tone deaf and just did not get the point. But, her being the privileged woman that she is, they all kind of slow over there. So on Monday morning, she joined six noteworthy women, including Jeff Bezos' fiance, Lauren Sanchez, who says she's 55, but girl, if you keep injecting all that fix-a-flat in your face, you're going to keep looking more like the damn Joker than your actual age. And then they had another tone-deaf person over there, vocally and mentally, Katy Perry, who just turned 40. And, they went and spent 11 minutes in, giving Space a rim job. So that's basically what they did. And it was basically it was broadcast live. I didn't see it, probably because I have a life and I was actually doing stuff. But I've heard about it. So the women crossed the Carmen line, often used as a boundary of space, and were treated to roughly 3 minutes of weightlessness before they headed back down to the ground. You know what that reminds me of? I'm trying to remember. What was that movie when it was like, oh, it reminded me of that scene in the Matrix Revolutions. Remember when they actually went up, like the ship went up in the sky and then it went through all the dark clouds and you saw the sunlight for like a second and then it just did that big dip right back down to Earth? That was in the Revolution. That was about when the ship crashed and then Trinity died for real, in that time because they was in the real world. That's what that reminds me of. So y'all basically went up in space, literally was weightless for like less than 10 minutes, and then you came back down. So it was like literally like a roller coaster ride. That's basically what y'all took. So she's mad because the people got on social media and started critiquing them, basically saying that y'all ain't really do nothing. Y'all just out here wasting all this good money just to go spend 5 minutes in space. So this commercial spacecraft carrying King, Sanchez, and Perry, as well as filmmaker Kieran Flynn and NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bowe, civil rights activist Amanda Nguyen, on the brief zero-gravity joyride. Now, moments before takeoff, the ladies each rang a ceremonial bell before getting into the rocket. While everyone else was smiling and looking happy to ring the bell and get on with the mission, King looked noticeably downcast and stressed out as she took her turn. Well, I thought like literally that was before I thought that was after she got off the ship. But no, she was going on. Probably because, typical black woman, y'all be like, in the words of Funky Dineva, a lot of times when y'all get in certain circles, y'all want to be black like this and not like this. But she was black like this when she was getting on that plane, on that ship, and then got like this when her ass got off. So, you know, Gayle up there needed her whole wig shifted and literally probably got it shifted when she got up in space with no damn gravity. So so that's why I had to pull this meme up because that literally is how her face looked when she was about to go up there. Like she literally looked like she needed to drop a couple of deuces before she got and sat her behind down and got up in that damn shuttle. So yeah, and then one user said that her face perfectly described going to work on a Monday, while others joked that there's never been another person who wanted to go to space less than the journalist. But because it was paid for, you think she gonna turn down an opportunity of somebody else paying for it on their dime? So then they said, but King, embraced it all as she changed her profile picture on Instagram, this snap of her face. And after ringing the bell, and even addressed the now viral moment on CBS Mornings on Tuesday, saying that I did not realize that I looked that serious, but it does stand out when you look at everybody else because when they're ringing, they're smiling. Not because they were probably feeling the way you was feeling. The problem is you wear your actual emotions on your face. The mother bros was real good. Well, Lauren's face don't move, but Katy Perry gonna sit up there and smile through it because she's delusional. Like she still won't even acknowledge the fact that while her album flopped and her still making excuses for working with Dr. Luke. So you think she ain't gonna be if she gonna be delusional during that era? You don't think she's gonna be delusional getting her ass up in that damn shit and try to pretend that she's all copacetic about the whole situation? So Gayle went and was like, I was just thinking, let me get into my seat and follow instructions. Her co-host, Tony Dokupil and Nate Burleson agreed as they explained that they just thought she was getting her game face on. That's her game face. You only been around enough black folks if you think that's a damn game face. But she said she was scared, and we clearly could see it on your face. So the women quick trip of space was not well received because you had a couple of celebrities that jumped on the line, such as Emily Ratajkowski or Ratajkowski. How the hell you say her name? It's a mouthful. Olivia Wilde, Olivia Munn. Damn, those. And you want to know something funny? Olivia Wilde and Olivia Munn. I'm always getting them two confused, even though they don't even look alike because their names are similar in a lot of ways. I guess they both Olivia. I always be getting them confused. And then also Amy Schumer came out and said something. But then King said that she was mad because she said, this is what bothers me. I've certainly read some of the stuff being said online, and it's coming from people I know, people I consider friends. They call it a ride, which I find very irritating because they never say men went for a ride. And I think now what she's trying to say is now you're trying to use the whole because all of y'all were women in the shuttle that went up and had the moment. And when y'all try to play that, well, you would never say that about a man. I don't think that's what we were looking at. We weren't even looking. And look, most of you were getting criticism from your own gender. So I don't think you can really sit up in here and say that that was the reason. And it was being slim as a frivolous publicity campaign for Jeff Bezos' space company. So we got Jeff Bezos out here with a space company. We got Apartheid Clyde with SpaceX. So we got all these billionaire oligarch types running around thinking because they got money that grants you access to whatever it is you want. And clearly it does. Because we're getting to a point where, yeah, the millionaires and billionaires, they're pretty much swallowing up everything. Especially when you see what the current idiot in chief is doing, where he keeps crashing the market. So that way, the big billionaires, the very few of them, can continue to buy low. Like he's purposely crashing the market. He even admitted he's doing it. So at this point, it's like when y'all let the guardrails off that idiot, now everybody's running around, he's literally just saying the quiet part out loud. And people are just allowing it. So then also they said responding to accusations that the suborbital, that was a mouthful, flight had no real scientific purpose. King spoke with fellow crewmate, former NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bowe on CBS Mornings, saying there's so many things that could have been developed in space that benefit Earth, from pharmaceuticals to like research on agriculture. And, I paused there because we did research and it was emotional. Part of what I accomplished in my flight was I was looking at the future of being able to produce crops that can withstand harsh environments so we can look at food security here on Earth. And simultaneously, we also were able to certify that device so more people could do research on New Shepard. But here's the thing. You saying that's what you was doing. That wasn't what Gayle and them was doing. They literally went up in space for 10 minutes to go on a freaking touristy ride. They went to go sightsee space. So what you sitting there talking about agriculture and food security and all that other stuff and seeing how things can withstand out in space, probably because what's going to happen is this is going to end up a real life Elysium, which is y'all going to have us poor folks stuck on Earth while y'all go build y'all little Death Star in the sky for you billionaires to live on. That's probably why y'all doing all of this. See, a lot of times, that's why I love science fiction, because science fiction movies basically kind of point to things that actually happen. And then when you start to really look at how our world is at this moment, a lot of the things that you've seen in a lot of science fiction movies and TV shows is starting to come true. Because we're seeing it happening in real time. But y'all want robots to be taking over people's jobs and all this other stuff. We don't have 1,000 damn Megans running around here soon. So I just feel like she's tone deaf. She's missing the point on the whole thing. So it's not necessarily about, you being a woman. And I hate when women want to use that as a smokescreen because you're too dense to want to understand and look at the issue. And don't sit up here and talk about, well, when a man go up, nobody says anything, but when it's a woman, hey, I want to call it a ride. Bitch, it was a ride. You wasn't going up in space doing nothing significant culturally. You got to go on a free trip to space, and you had your sister Oprah on Earth crying while your ass was going up in the sky for like literally 10 minutes. So to me, I just feel like she's coming off as tone deaf. People have, people are feeling the way that they feel, and I think, and no, I don't know if a lot of people have been explaining it that way or the way that I'm thinking it. But I feel like, we're in an existential crisis right now politically. And a lot of what's going on in our country, I'll say in our earth, our country, with all the dismantling of our government, the idiot in chief just finding any little thing that he could anything he touches turns to shit, literally. And we're seeing it happening in real time. And people are gagging because they were like, we didn't expect it to happen like this. This man is taking literally a wrecking ball to every policy under the sun, because he's on his revenge tour. So, and then here y'all go out here giving a rim job to the outskirts of Earth, which literally I feel like at the end of the day is a promotion for Amazon head oligarch spacecraft, which of course you knew his girlfriend was going to get up on there for free. When you fucking the boss, the one that owns Amazon and a bunch of other stuff, and MGM and a bunch of other things, of course, you get on that ride for free. So, while people out here losing their 401ks, immigrants with visas and American protesters are being shipped off to an El Salvador prison without due process, what we have here is a bunch of ditzy clucking hens taking a field trip for 10 minutes in space. So, what irritates me about Gayle is the performative sexist argument that she and many like her like to do, when there's actual female astronauts who are out here doing far more for our planet than you ever will in your lifetime. All you basically are getting to walk away with is bragging rights. You and every last one of them broads on there walking away with brag. You, Katy Perry, and Lauren Sanchez. I know there's a couple of them up on there that are actual like work in the field. I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but I'm just talking about the celebrities that got to go on this ride. So just be happy that you went and did what you did. And you know that she already been, bad enough last week you was dragged for saying that F word with that white queen, the one that ain't funny. What's his name? Mateo Lane? Yeah. When you got dragged by social media because it was like, okay, well, yeah, that white queen gave your ass permission, but let it have been a joke where the N-word was up in there. And somebody white person, you know what I like about you? You know what I found funny? The nigga tree of it all. I'm just pulling something out my behind, like how she did with the faggotry comment. You had me cackling. And I want to see that ninja sit right there across from that white person as they say that joke. And yeah, I want to see how they react to that. Because that's what I was meaning when I was going in and letting have on Gayle crooked wig wearing ass when she said that shit last week when she was on her damn show with Mateo Lane unfunny ass sitting across from her. You better keep selling them damn cookbooks. So anyway, I think I'm done with my rant. So I say all this to say, y'all, what do you think of this story in regards to Gayle King? Do you feel like she came across as tone deaf in regards to her overall opinion on the backlash from people who she said, because she considers friends, that was critiquing her? And I feel like, girl, you ain't beyond reproach. If you wasn't my friend, I would have said something too. Like, there's way more fish to fry out in this world. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on that we got to worry about than you out here floating around in space for literally a millisecond. But I guess when you rich and you got a whole lot of money, these things don't affect you the way regular average people are affected by what's going on in our current country. And we're going to be feeling this long after that man is gone, whether he in the grave or he's dragged kicking and screaming from that damn White House. So I say all this to say, whatever your thoughts are on this comment or this story, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, hold on. Now I gotta go up. It said, hello, any thoughts on Tate McRae releasing a song with the new Cheryl? I just heard about that literally moments before I went live. I was like, Tate McRae non-talent, having ass, like her walking around thinking she Britney Spears. She could work whatever the hell she want to work with. Just like we got Post Malone calling out hip hop colonizing ass, working on another song with him. So it is what it is. White people stick together, don't they? Happy hump day, because it was Wednesday. In order for UK to get tariffs removed, the laws on LGBTQ hate speech have to be removed because that's not free speech to the US people. I do too. I forgot all about that. They should have left her ass right up there in space. Her and the whole Kesha Reed, and people still don't understand why Kesha said what she said, made the joke and was drinking the Wendy's drink. I was like, because this bitch out here defending Dr. Luke. After I said what that man did to me, you still opted to work with him. And try to come up with a million damn excuses as to why you work with him, except for saying what it was. You was thirsty for a hit. Your music ain't been relevant in like 10 years. And you thought by reuniting with Dr. Luke that was going to get you back on the radar. However, because you so in this bubble and you ain't been paying attention to what's going on in the world, and that's the messed up, that's the negative side of when you're in this business, when you got a bunch of damn yes people around you and people who are so scared to be like, I don't know if that's a good idea because the streets are stronger, and they saying like, people out here not really feeling Dr. Luke, especially with the drama between him and Kesha, which they just settled like maybe a year ago or something or another. So I don't know if you should work with him, but if you want to go and take that risk, okay, be my guest, but don't gag over the backlash. Oh, and another thing too, she decided didn't she flash like her set list for her tour in space too? So y'all were using this as a promotional tool, or maybe Katy Perry was. It was a shameless. It was a shameless promotional tool. Magical mermaids in the building. I guess this was an anti-DEI. Okay. Well, unless they rich, they'll have them go up there. Bobby waited that long to say something about Britney's. Well, look, I guess nobody gave him a platform until Uncle Shay Shay just did. But we'll get to that story. Hope y'all fasted the night before. Yeah, because you don't want nobody throwing up all over you, right? She wears her emotions on her face. Mm-mm. Don't be trying to read us Virgos. I hope she's not, because I do not. We don't claim her. Hold on, now I gotta look up Gayle King and see how old is she. American TV. No, her birthday is December 28th, so that makes her as a Capricorn. Yeah, she one of those. I knew there was a reason why she irritated me. I was like, my mother and sister's a Capricorn, but my sister irritates me. So she's the type of Capricorn that's like all the negative aspects of y'all sign is literally her. Just put cameras inside and give us a virtual live trip, okay? I saw a clip of Gwen doing an acoustic version of Hollaback Girl. It was like, girl, well, because Gwen can't really sing. Gwen needs, one of those mics that actually those auto-tune mics and a band or whatever. Like she was good back in the day, but now it's just like, you literally sound like a goat being strangled when you sing. Take this big ribbon off my eye. Like that's how she sounds now. A mess. That's why they want to replace women from the workplace with robots, and that's what's all we all gonna be out here struggling to make money. When I was at the Kylie show the other night, I saw Katie is coming to my. Yeah, we advertised that mess in our at the Garden too. She's coming around August. We just got an email from my union rep, and he was letting us know like the big conflict that's coming around because Lady Gaga got 6 dates at Madison Square Garden. So oh yeah, and I forgot. Yeah, Lauren Sanchez helped design their space suits or whatever. I was like, whatever. What she want, a damn cookie? Was she trying to go and be a part of the Project Runway thing? Because she helped design the looks. Actually, funnily enough, it's the week I go on my cruise to the Bahamas. Well, look, that's a good thing. Go on your cruise and don't be like, because Katy Perry ain't getting a lot of people money. He said, well, with some of them, I'd be fine with them going off and doing their own colonies. Yeah, the sooner they could just go off and do their own thing and leave us alone, the better. People think that Trump would do this much damage. Yeah, they didn't think. And well, the reality is they didn't think. And then I saw a recent story that Azealia Banks admitted she voted for him. But I thought we knew that. Because around that time, I felt like Kamala. I was like, bitch, we knew when you said that you wasn't voting for her. And then she kept going back and forth. Oh no, I didn't vote for her. Oh no, I voted for Trump. And then now she admitting it again and realized what you basically saying. That we in trouble. No, bitch, you're in trouble. Because I mean, I guess we'll all have to suffer at the wrath of this man because those of us who did not vote for him, we have the good conscience of being like, see, we don't want to say I told you so. And then people get mad when you say like, well, I don't think that you should be going around saying I told you so to people. Why? Because when we try to tell y'all don't want to hear it. Y'all got hard heads and soft asses. So then when it comes down to the reality, now you want me to handle you still with kid gloves? No, this is the fuck around and find out season. This is the season y'all gotta wallow in your shit. Y'all get out there and do your little picket signs, white people. You get out there and you protest and you show how mad you are. Hands off by this and hands off by that. Because you know what? Over the years when black folks or people of color was out there marching for a lot of the rights for us to have, and I guess y'all to have too. A lot of things that we was doing was on deaf ears. We were always looked at in a violent way, and police had to be out there, and people was getting arrested for the peaceful protest. But white folks get out there, and it's not an issue. So, you know what? This is the season where y'all just got to learn. This is how you voted, and now we stuck with this idiot. Oh, you saying that you a Virgo? Well, what are you, August or September? Well, let me know after the next topic, which is let's talk about my girl, Shirley Manson. So we got to get into this Shirley Manson team because, I love me some garbage. They have a new album coming out. And I think she did a recent interview in Daily Mail, old trifling botched teeth having it behinds, because I say, no shade to the Brits, but I always think like y'all got a horrible dental plan over there when it come down to the Brits. So yes, I'm stereotyping y'all because y'all want to come over here and throw shade at, I don't want to say our artist, but technically Shirley is Scottish. So she's not necessarily American. She was born in Scotland. She has a thick accent still. So yeah, they were coming for her to my she look old. So on Sunday, April 13th, the 58-year-old singer of the rock band Garbage posted to Instagram a response to a recent Daily Mail article focused on the band members' appearance. The post included a screenshot of the story, which featured a black and white photo of the group. The headline reads, "Iconic American rock band look unrecognizable in new album promo snaps as they promote its first single." "What is this supposed to mean?" she wrote on Instagram. The Scottish musician noted that her male bandmates look exactly the same as they have always done for 30 years, so I can't help thinking this is directed at me. And that's exactly what it was, because I saw a picture of the whole band, Butch, Vig, and all of them, and trust and believe, they do look the same. Like when I looked at Butch, I was like, yeah, Butch got the same hairdo. He just older. A lot of them all look the same. Shirley, yes. You know what? She's 58 years old. She's knocking on 60. What you thought she was going to look like? Forever, you thought she was going to look like this? Well, not that. This picture? You thought she was going to look like that forever? That was her back in the 90s. Probably during her Stupid Girl era. Their debut album, Garbage. Then it was like, what? Beautiful Garbage. And what got me into them, when I saw they had a song on their album called Queer, I was like, ooh, let me find out y'all got a song about the queers of the queer, the strangest of the strange, the cruise of the cruise, the lamest of the lame, me reciting them lyrics. But it was like, I love that record. What was it? Stupid Girl. That was another one of my songs. I love the Beautiful Garbage album because they got a little more electronic with the rock, mixing the rock and electronic. And I think that's why I gravitated towards them. Plus, Shirley Manson, who sidebar is also a Virgo. By the way, we got to shout out our Virgo people up on this show because I am one. That moxie that she has, that overall snarl and that sultriness and that, yeah, I own this stage, bitch. Like when she get up on stage, it's a wrap. Like that's what I've always loved about Shirley Manson. And, one of the things I'm a little upset about is I never got the opportunity to see them live in concert. But I would love to see them go, live at some point. So she went on to say, "Look, I'm nearly 60 years old. Of course, I'm not going to look anything like my late 20s self. Quite honestly, I think it would be a bit creepy if I did, but hey, that's just me. Either way, this kind of language is weaponized to put a woman like me in my place." Manson explained that she decided to reject this gift and continue to age as I am. So I will continue to wrinkle and flub, lose an inch of my weight here and gain a new inch or two there, but I will still look cute in my pajamas. Well, they should spell it Pyjamas, or is that how they spelled it? It was like pajamas with bed head and no makeup on, and I will always, she wrote in the post conclusion, no matter what I look like, no matter what they say about me, I will always and forever rock harder than most. And trust and believe she will, because one of the things you cannot deny about Shirley is that she will give you a show. And she gets up there and performs her ass off. So now y'all looking at the picture of the whole band, which it's been the same people for the past 3 decades. They look the same but older. So clearly it was directed at her. And Daily Mail, I see through y'all BS and y'all shade or your attempt at it, because when I go on y'all page, and I do visit your page often for tabloid fodder for the show, because sometimes y'all be funny over there with y'all messiness. Although a lot of time when y'all talk about y'all politics, I already see what side y'all lean on. If they were in America, trust and believe they would have voted for 47 and 45. Because based off of the way y'all do lean pretty much like y'all are the British equivalent of page 6. So when I was looking on their page or whatever, they do make a lot of articles based off of certain people's appearance. Oh, this one is unrecognizable as they starred in this movie or this show, whatever. So I see y'all, this is the thing they do often. It's just that Shirley Manson took the social media to call their behinds out on their ageism. And the person that wrote the article, I want to know what the hell you look like, because you want to be out here reading people on their looks. What y'all look like behind them keyboards? So we can read y'all on y'all the way how y'all looking. How many wrinkles y'all got? Y'all got some good teeth over there? Do you smell like a bed of roses? Or a horse's ass. Like, inquiring minds want to know. So then she went on to get support from other celebrities in the comments, including Mad Men actress Christina Hendricks, who called Manson a goddess. If by unrecognizable they mean hotter than ever, then yes, the Shining Vale star Marin Dungy said. Marin Dungy, I haven't heard that name in a minute. Wasn't Marin Dungy on? Wait, why does that name sound familiar? Was it Francie from Alias? Hold on, I gotta look that up because I was like, I remember hearing it. Yes, it is, child. I was like, wait a minute, was that the one that played Fancy on Francie on Alias? Child, that fight scene was iconic between her and Sydney Bristow when they basically killed off the Francie from the show, and then they turned her into like some double agent, had wound up getting a whole face-off situation so she could infiltrate. I think she was from K Directorate, and they wound up getting there. She was like, Francie don't like coffee ice cream, and they went on and started beating the shit out of each other. I was like, that scene was iconic. But anyway, to get back to this, I don't watch Shining Vale. I mean, isn't that show with Courtney Cox? The name sounds familiar, but anyway. So then it said, Spanish singer Vega told Manson, "You are beautiful, the quintessential lady of rock, regardless of the passing of the years." Now, Garbage formed in 1993 in Madison, Wisconsin. In addition to Manson, the band consists of American musicians Duke Erickson, Stephen Marker, and Butch Vig, who have all been with the group since its inception. And if y'all don't know who Butch Vig is, you better recognize because he produced Nevermind by Nirvana. So the man's been around for a long time before he started going off and doing his own band thing. So, yeah, shout out to you, Shirley. Screw your haters. And yeah, some of y'all would wish to actually, or hope, I would say, to make it to Shirley's age, since y'all want to come out here and read people on their appearance and their age and stuff. So I want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think of this story? Excuse me, regarding, the Daily Mail trying it with their shade about in regards to Shirley Manson. I was trying to see in here. I could have sworn that it said that they have a new they have their 8th studio album, because I was like, when does the new album come out? Let All That We Imagine Be the Light. So that's what it's being called. The new album, and it's going to come out on May 30th. So if you are a Garbage fan, definitely check out the new album. I haven't heard, I think they dropped a new, or supposed to be dropping a new single any day now. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for that. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Oh, you were August. I'm September. They said I didn't know until earlier Michael Rappaport had become a Trumper after he used to roast it. Michael Rappaport is a whole clown. Anybody check of him. That's why I posted that post on my social media. That shady one. Well, they named their group Garbage. He said yes for the earth signs. Oh, and so Kylie came out around 8:55 and finished around. Yeah, sounds about right, because she always comes out around 8:55, and then she's done like literally. Well, you say around 11, so it was like 10:50 when she did it on both nights. Not a double tourist. Of course they did. They all aged. And I think they're probably older than her. Garbage is coming to Paramount Theater in September. That means you'd have to buy a ticket and take time off, which makes sense. They're not an arena act alone. They'll need Alanis Morissette. Yeah, they do like smaller venues. But why did I think Paramount Theater was Paramount Theater is probably like right by me. It's like in Times Square in that area. But I don't know why I thought Paramount Theater, I believe, used to be, or it probably still is. I have to check. But I think it was like there was a theater that was like right in the same building as the MTV building, like 1515 Broadway. So yeah, probably would have to take time off. Yeah, not everybody can be Cher. And I saw somebody make a comment about why Cher. Somebody said, why was Alexander Edwards at Coachella and not Cher? And it's like, what? He can't be out and about by himself or with his friends. And Cher's not going to Coachella. Y'all have lost your mind. Y'all thought that octogenarian was going to hang out at some damn Coachella. Not that hot ass weather. She ain't doing that unless she working. I saw Garbage a couple of years ago when they opened for Tears for Fears. They said, when you give yourself a difficult name, things happen. No, they just want to be shady about her. They just want to make an ageist comment. But anyway, all right, y'all. So let's move on to our next topic, and let's talk about Bobby Brown, who is throwing shade at Britney Spears' cover of My Prerogative. So he recently did an interview with Club Shay Shay. I don't even know if the interview has been dropped yet because I just like today when I saw the article just now, like literally maybe like 30 minutes before I went live at the show. That's why I added it real quick because I was like trying to put the show together. Then I was like, oh, this sounds like a good one. Now I got to move some things around, take some stuff out, and add this in. So yeah, apparently he did an interview on Club Shay Shay. I believe that the episode hasn't aired yet. But when he went in, he basically said that he don't particularly care for Britney's cover of My Prerogative. And just a reminder, I had to literally listen to um both songs. Well, I know what Bobby Brown's My Prerogative sound like, but I had to go and remind myself what Britney's version sound like just to refresh my memory. And I got thoughts on it, so we'll talk after I finish reading the Variety article. So shout out to them. So now, no stranger to speaking the truth. Bobby Brown said he isn't a fan of Britney Spears' cover of his 1988 hit single, My Prerogative. Spears' cover served as a single to her first greatest hits album, Greatest Hits by Prerogative, in 2004, which I actually bought. I got the CD upstairs, somewhere in a box in storage. I said upstairs, like storage is upstairs. But anyway, so he said Britney Spears butchered My Prerogative. This is what he told Shannon Sharp on the Lattice Club Shay Shay podcast. Now, Sharp had he asked him what he believed was the best use of sampling from another artist using his music. He said, I don't think they did it justice. And said, I don't think they really did justice to any of the samples that they have done to my songs. At this point, Brown referenced Spears, adding that her cover of his 1980s, his 80s single was a butchering. But I'm trying to remember what other song, I think y'all will fan out and let me know in comments, what other songs have been sampled by him, what other songs of his has been sampled that outside of Britney can he be talking about? Because I can't think of off the top of my head. Yeah, the only song I know that they did was that. Did anybody like sample Don't Be Cruel? Did anybody do any of the songs that he did from the New Edition era? Like, I don't know. I can't think of any off the top of my head. The only song I know is the Britney song. So then he said Teddy Riley produced it, but that was a butchering that I just couldn't take it. I cleared it only because it was Britney Spears, and I was thinking Teddy Riley is doing it too. So, so he only cleared it because it was like Britney Spears was a huge star. He knew he would probably, get a good amount of coin out of it. And that's why he made the decision to go along with that song. So I was like, oh yeah, Britney Spears is going to cover it. Oh, I'll give me a little something. I'll get a little pieces, a little something out of it. But then I guess he heard it and he was like, well, damn, that's what y'all did with this track. He also explained that this was a lesson to him to listen to samples before clearing or allowing others to use his music. Say, I gotta hear it in order for it to be clear because you don't know what these kids will say these days. These kids say some ish that you don't want your song associated with it. Now, released in the midst of Spears' hiatus, Greatest Hits by Prerogative was introduced with this cover, which differs from the original version with added synthesizers, drums, and a modern R&B flow. Spears also switches up the pronouns to be from a female's perspective and included a sultry introduction where she says people can take everything away from you, but they can never take away your truth. But the question is, can you handle mine? Well, girl, quiet as a kept, you can't even handle your own truth. So, look, I like Britney. Britney has been through a lot, but I will say this. That rendition of My Prerogative that they did of her, like her cover, it just wasn't good. I didn't like the production on it. I mean, the production was cute. Wherever they were trying to go for like this, like the Indian, like the bongos. It felt like it was like having like this sultry Indian vibe to it. It kind of felt like it was in there. And then, I guess it was supposed to be like a sexy rendition, but to be honest, I didn't like her vocals on it because it was just too much whispering. It was like literally like barely their vocals. You're cooing all over the track. It wasn't giving what needed to be given. So I do agree with him that it was just like, I'm not feeling it. And he has every right to feel the way he feels about it. Because I would have asked, well, did the check clear? So it was like, you didn't really like the song, but did the check clear at the end of the day? So that wasn't the only thing he said, by the way. He also gave his opinion on Usher and Chris Brown because, one Brown to another Brown. Because in the interview, he also gets it on the Usher Chris Brown debate, where he was asked by Uncle Shay Shay, who does he think? I mean, what? Who does he think? What does he think of the current? Who does he think in this generation is at the level of the king of pop, Michael Jackson? So basically, he said, "I will go with Chris Brown." Chris Brown is a dancer, singer, and great entertainer. He goes out there and he does the ultimate stuff on stage, and you just have to love it. Bobby was sure to clarify that he loves Usher as well, saying that Usher is a great entertainer, but I've got to go with Chris on being as close to Michael as anybody could ever get. So, and I've said that over the years. I've said that the thing about Chris Brown, when you look at him, Chris Brown is the closest. Child, I just saw some breaking news, but hold on, I gotta save that after I finish what I gotta say here. So I do agree that when you look at a Chris Brown is the closest that we get that gets up on that stage and performs his ass off in regards to performing like Michael Jackson style level. But then again, when you talk about Usher, a lot of people think Usher is the same way. When you look at someone like Usher is that all around. How do you explain it? Like he's just that all around showman, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. He's a showman at the end of the day. And the people live for Usher. So I don't understand why, because I was like trying to look for there was an article that I saw where they said that his Epic Past, Present, and Future tour basically cements him as music's leading showman. So he's doing a 10-night run at the O2 Arena in London. So that's basically like, so look, Usher is somebody who is literally a worldwide phenomenon. Like he could literally go and do 10 nights in London or in certain places and just really have that show. And I guess the Brits are living for him out there. So he's got like a 10-night residency, which I've never heard of artists doing something like that, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna spend 10 nights at this arena doing the show. The O2 is iconic. So I could definitely see like Chris Brown, and then Usher, and then Chris Brown. I just heard he's extending his stadium tour that he has going on. Who's with that with him? Summer Walker. So he's, they're both successful in their own right, regardless of all the negative press that Chris Brown's been getting, whether you love him or hate him or whatever. He's selling out stadiums. The people still live for him. So the industry may have canceled him. The industry may have counted him out. The industry may have just kind of tossed him to the side or whatever the case is. But Chris Brown is still out here doing his thing. And they may not give him his flowers or his accolades, but it ain't up to them. Like a Billboard commentary or Rolling Stone and their list or whatever does not determine how people view whatever it is that they view. And it's funny I'm saying this because I got a chart that I got to go into later on regarding Billboard. So Bobby Brown has his opinion. And I guess it is what it is. So I want to know what you guys think of this story. I mean, do you agree with Bobby Brown on his thoughts, not only on Britney Spears, but also Usher and Chris Brown, saying that Chris Brown is the closest that we have to that epic Michael Jackson status? Like I will say, as a performer, yes, but but in regards to the songs, I mean, maybe except 11:11. 11:11 was him getting back to basics and really like showing his maturity and stuff. But like he put out a lot of previous albums before. It was like, okay, you got 40 tracks on his record. It's too much. I can't even get through all of it. And it was like a lot of the songs wasn't really given what needs to be given. But recently, it's like, okay, Chris Brown has gotten his return to form and all that other stuff. So yeah, so I definitely want to hear from you all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So I saw something on that grape juice because that's where I was just a second ago trying to find that article that I came across. And basically, it has been announced that Cardi B is headlining the LadyLand Festival in New York City And LadyLand is like where all the homosexuals be going. First of all, I'm going to this because guess who's performing? And they had this under the K Bridge in Brooklyn. This is also around the time when Madonna went and Esther DJ'd and they had a little voguing thing where she judged. So apparently it looked like FKA Twigs got her whole visa situation worked out because she's going to be headlining along with Cardi B at this year's extravaganza. And it's a 2-day celebration of queer culture. So that's one of the reasons why I was like, oh yeah, I definitely gotta go to this. But here's the thing, because a lot of the artists I listen to. So hosted by nightlife star Lady Fag, shout out to her. The festival brings together a high energy lineup that includes Pablo Vittar, Earth Eater, Cobra, and Sukihana. Now, Cardi, who proudly came out as bisexual, brings her bold presence to a stage that showcases queer identity and chart-topping talent. So I'm wondering if she plans on dropping the album around that same time. Because, girl, at this point, you definitely need to come up with a new thing. So hold on, because I want to show y'all the full photo. So yeah, that's the photo there of who's going to be performing at the LadyLand Festival. So it says on Friday, Cardi B, Cobra, Sukihana, Danny Tenaglia, bitch, Sophia Cortez, 5, Hercules and Love Affair, and that's the DJ set. And they said, oh, I guess it is the DJ set. So then also Alex Chapman, Amana Khan, Charlene, Chase Icon, Gally Pony, Kareem Olin Ash, Poor Detroit, and Leonce, Michael Magnin, Poro, Santi. Is Santi the one that be coming from? I think he's from LA, and I know he's been trying to get into like music and stuff. But Saturday sound good too. First of all, y'all got FKA Twigs, Pablo Fantar, Boris, Earth Eater, Isabella Love Story, Kevin Aviance, Alexis De La Rosa, Manuka Honey, Liam Bensby, Meth Math, Sissies of Mercy. And then it says Under the K Bridge. So LadyLand Festival, definitely if that sounds like something that you want to go to during Pride weekend, because that sounds like a party. I may have to take off them 2 days and try to get up and go out there and see a lot of these performances, because y'all know I live for Cardi B and Cobra and FKA Twigs and Pablo Vittar. Earth Eater's cute, but she gives me like, well, she'll fit right in because that's hipster. That's like she gives me Brooklyn hipster tees. And I live in Kevin Aviance, so it's about to be lit out there. I definitely want to check that out. And so Brooklyn is about to be lit, yeah. So let me know if y'all want to go see that, if you're gonna be in the New York area, or if you're gonna be out here during Pride. Because we're not gonna let that old clown in the White House, mess with our joy and our pride and our stuff. All right, so let's see who's in the comments. Rourke said, I just can't believe that Whitney is gone. I was listening to Britney's My Prerogative earlier today. As far as I know, she has the better version of the song. Ooh. The song was kind of precursor to Blackout in a lyrical context. And we do love Blackout. And look, that was the era when she was in love with Kevin Federline. And people trying to tell us, stop messing with that man. And here you go messing with that old fool. All right. So where we going? Oh, let's get into this story. So Snow White look like if you Lebanese and you living out in Lebanon or Kuwait, don't expect to see Snow White in any of the theaters out there because it's been banned because they do not like Gal Greenstein. And that's what we call over here because that's her actual name before she decided to go in and change it because she wanted to have a more indigenous last name. Same thing with Netanyahu. He did the same freaking thing where he went and changed his last name so they could sound more indigenous. You know how the colonizers are. So Disney's live action Snow White has been banned from playing in movie theaters in Lebanon due to the presence of the film of Israeli actress Gal Gadot, who plays the role of the evil queen. Now, the ban was ordered by Lebanon's Interior Minister Ahmad al-Hajjar, who, according to local media, was prompted to take action by the country's film and media watchdog amid Israel's ongoing attack on Hezbollah in Lebanon, which have caused civilian deaths. Because Israel out here thinking that they own every goddamn thing, and when you call them out on their shit, they want to accuse you of being a damn anti-Semitic. I said, oh no, you wouldn't know what anti-Semitism was if it slapped you upside the head. Now, however, a representative for Beirut-based Middle East distributor Italia Films, which handles Disney titles in the region, told Variety that Gadot has long been on Lebanon's Israel boycott list and that no movie in which she stars has ever been released in the country. Well, damn, do y'all not get the Fast and the Furious movies? Because she's been in a couple of those. I mean, they did keep her cameo a secret in the last one, so they probably tricked y'all. I don't know if it aired over there, but my Lebanese people, if it did, let me know in the comments. Now, reps for Greenstein, sorry, did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment. Of course, they're not going to say nothing. What could they say? And I heard when she was in the military, she was a sniper. First of all, is it me or was she pregnant when she made this movie? Because she looks a little bumpy-ish. She looks a little thick in the middle, or was she like or was this post-pregnancy? I can't tell. So now, Greenstein was born in Israel and served on the Israel Defense Forces, has been an outspoken advocate for the country, especially following the October 7th attacks by Hamas. In a passionate speech she delivered on March 4th when she was honored at the Anti-Defamation League's annual summit in New York City, she said, quote, "Never did I imagine that on the streets of the United States and different cities around the world, we would see people not condemning Hamas, but celebrating, justifying, and cheering on the massacre of Jews." Well, first of all, sis, that's bullshit because a lot of people were not doing that. What people were going against was the overall genocide and now famine going against Palestinians. So when you look at the amount of people that were killed over in Israel in October versus what is happening now and how literally there's nothing left of Palestine and how y'all are just dropping bombs by the minute. I just saw a thing yesterday where they said it's been 7 weeks since there was food and aid even allowed into Gaza. So for y'all to sit and try to use this as your argument, and most recently you had Dave Draymond, which I had no idea, but I should not be surprised at all that he's a damn Zionist because he just recently went in on Green Day for their performance at Coachella because they changed some of the words where they were showing that they were pro-Palestine. I get y'all have family in Israel, but here's the thing: y'all are not above reproach, and you should be criticized when y'all do one thing that's wrong. And us criticizing your behavior or your justification for why you're doing to what you're doing now to innocent Palestinians, because all of them are not Hamas. Everybody that's in Palestine, in Gaza, is not Hamas. Those who live, you know, out there, they're not terrorists. And that's what it is. It's not even about you trying to get the hostages back. Because Netanyahu, there have been many deals put in place where you can get your hostages back. They're not interested in that. They're interested in stealing all of that land, invading the West Bank, and literally trying to wipe out lineages and generations of people. This is what y'all are doing. So let's not sit up here and try to act like that y'all are the victims of this. You cannot throw your rock, hide your hand, and play the victim and be afraid of being called out on the overall genocide that a lot of y'all are conducting. And I'm not saying all Israelis are for this because they are not. So of course I got to point out all the sides because then people want to take what you say, misconstrue it, and twist your words. You ain't gonna do that up in here. So I'm not surprised that she would come across as saying what she's saying, which is why people are going in on her and calling her all kinds of Zionists and dragging her down to the floor and talking about why the movie was a flop. It may have partially, maybe it had something to do with Rachel Zegler, but I think for the most part, a lot of people just don't like her. They don't like Gal. Once they figured out the type of woman that she is and what she stands for politically, a lot of people are like, we don't like her. And plus her ass, she can't act. I was definitely surprised, Patty Jenkins pulled a miracle out of her ass, making her work as Wonder Woman. And yeah, she's a beautiful woman. And she was cute in Wonder Woman, but we saw all them weaknesses when the second one came out. So now I should also point out that the Snow White ban in Lebanon marks a similar move by the country's authorities roughly 2 months ago when Marvel's Captain America Brave New World was not allowed to screen due to the presence in the film of Israeli actress Shira Haas, who plays one of the Black Widows up in there. And there was controversy around her being in that movie. I remember when they were doing like the premiere in LA, I believe, for Brave New World, which I believe is now, I think it's available on digital, if I'm not mistaken, or it's supposed to be coming to Disney Plus soon. There was like massive protests and stuff outside in regards to that. So people are not feeling her. People are not feeling this movie. Anything that is, you know, pro-Zionist, the people are protesting. And look, the Prime Minister of Lebanon, because I almost forgot what it was, has a right to feel how he feels. And like I said, they went and the people in Kuwait went and banned it too. Because it's like, if you're going to be dropping bombs on my country, acting like y'all own it, then we're going to ban y'all for making any kind of money up in our situation. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of Snow White being banned in Lebanon due to Gal Greenstein, which I forgot to put that in the damn headline instead of her Gadot. And I didn't know they had an Israel boycott list. That is, child, that if that ain't shade, I don't know what is. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know in the comments down below. Then I'll also ban the Barbie movie because it promoted. Well, yeah. Well, look, I guess we could handle one political situation at a time, but yeah, this is the one thing that I don't like about other countries is that if they don't agree with something, it's like we're gonna ban it. You're not gonna be able to see this and see that. So the greatest thing about I was living in America is that there's no thing in regards of they try to shield us from certain subject matter when it comes to movies and shows. You get people complaining about it on social media, like y'all opinion matters, but for the most part, if you make things about gays or women or this or that, we see it, and people have a choice. I don't know how long, but we have a choice on whether or not we want to see, certain subject matter. But of course, you get those people that complain about it. But yeah, banning the Barbie movie because it promoted homosexuality. Y'all as if y'all don't have gays living out in Lebanon. Not a way to praise. Okay. Political tentacles have found their way into mainstream entertainment and trying to manipulate what we watch. Absolutely. Because after not everybody is Hamas. There are innocent people involved, and I don't think all Israelis can. They don't. So it's like on both sides. There are people that are blindly, and it's like even here with stuff in our country, there are people who will blindly just go along to get along, and then there's people who oppose what's happening in the world. And I don't oppose. I mean, I don't promote and agree with people going in and just killing people because you want their land, because you want to occupy the West Bank, because you want to take over Gaza. You got an idiot president, talking about ours, who gets on the line and wants to sit and talk about how, you know, you want to turn it into some type of casino resort beachside front because, oh, the beautiful beaches. And how can you tell with all the bombs y'all been dropping over there and all that toxin in the damn air? How can you tell what the beaches look like? So yeah, they want to bomb it, move these people out, and then basically take it over and turn it into a bunch of probably Trump resorts. And want to help Miriam Adelson, who gave him a whole lot of money for his campaign. Just like AIPAC helps the Democrats, you got Miriam Adelson, it was Sheldon, but he died. So now Miriam gives him the money. So that way that they could occupy the West Bank. Excuse me. I think agency CA. Oh, you talking about CAA? I would not be surprised. Look, here's the thing, and I know a lot of people get mad when you say this, but a lot of Jewish people, they run the media. They run a lot of corporations and entertainment. They run the banks. They run a lot of that stuff. And when you call it out, then people get mad. I was like, why are y'all upset over the truth? Well, when we see things based on observation, how is it anti-Semitic? How is it? I just don't get it. But it's just like these people just try to use things because they know words have power, words have meaning, and they use certain things as a weapon. But you're not going to use my words as no damn weapon. Anyway, let's move on. And let's get into this Tyra Banks story. So Tyra Banks recently was on this, what was it, NBC this morning, and basically was talking about the Bodyguard remake. So y'all do know, if y'all don't know now, you know, there is a Bodyguard remake in the works. And Tyra Banks has come to the conclusion who she would like to see play the Rachel Marin role, which was Whitney Houston's role, and then you had the Kevin Costner role, who was the bodyguard. So she said Taylor Swift, she want to see her in the role that was made famous by Whitney Houston. and she wants Idris Elba in the Kevin Costner role. So it was reported on Friday, April 11th, that the new version of the iconic 1992 romance that starred Whitney and Kevin Costner is in development, with Sam Wrench, the director of 2023 Taylor Swift The Eras Tour concert movie, set to direct. And while discussing the news on Today with Jenna and Friends, guest co-host Banks told Jenna Bush Hager that Swift should lead the new film. About who would take on the Houston role for a famous pop star who falls in love with her bodyguard, Banks suggested, I think Taylor Swift, because business and commerce art, she would freaking sell like crazy. But okay, I'm just going to be real. I'm a black girl. It was Whitney Houston as a black girl, Kevin Costner as a white man. What if we flipped it and it was Taylor Swift and Idris Elba? Hot. Now, Banks added that she's actively trying to make a movie with Elba at the moment. We're like, and she said, quote, we're like WhatsApp friends right now. I'm like, are you down? He's like, yeah, Banks. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this happen. I feel like we should do like the romance thing. Well, I know Tyra Banks is an actor. Well, she acts sometimes. And I'm like, but has Tyra Banks done any kind of acting that's like memorable? Can't think of it. Look, y'all even, I was so mad, even though the movie was terrible, but she was in Halloween Resurrection. They killed her off screen. I'm like, damn, I would have loved to have seen her death. We basically just saw her in the camera where she was hung by Michael Myers. So we never got to see her get murdered. Now, Bush Hager was 43 asked, why won't you be in the Bodyguard? To which Banks says, hell no, we need somebody who could really sing. Because remember when Tyra came out with that song, Shake Your Body? No shade, but that was a bop. I don't know. Okay, who had the boppiest of bop songs? Was it her or Kim Kardashian? The most auto-tune bop. I would go with Tyra because "Shake Your Body" that was an iconic track, and I used to bop to that song. So, and it's no shade. Now, the Bodyguard starred late. Well, we already know she played Rachel Marin, and then she was stalked by a crazy fan, and then she hired a former Secret Service agent named Frank Farmer as her security. Now, Elba, who had a clip of his voice sampled on Swift's song London Boy from her 2019 album Lover, and Swift both starred in the 2019 movie musical Cats along with James Corden, Judi Dench, Rebel Wilson, even Jason Derulo was in that, and Screamer for Hudson. So Kevin Costner also, when he turned 70 in January, he marked his birthday by remembering his former Bodyguard co-star Houston, who died in 2012 at age 48. This photo reminds me of how lucky I am to be getting another birthday. We lost such a light when we lost Whitney. I had forgotten that she was 48 when she passed. What is she now, like 65? I think she's about the same age as Michael and Madonna and Prince and all. They're all in the same age range. So look, I'll say this. I don't know if I'm on board with Tay-Tay taking on the iconic role originated by the legendary Whitney Houston. I did come up with a couple of people that I thought might be interesting to choose from in regards of who should play the part. I thought, at first, Lady Gaga, but she's already done 2 films where she had to sing. So she was in A Star is Born. I would say if she didn't do A Star is Born, then that would have been perfect to cast her in this movie. And then, of course, she did Joker 2, Foley I Do. And I do think that she would kill it in this film. However, it feels a little too close to home, even though it's kind of like a thriller. I guess the only difference would be she's a pop star and she can come up with all the music for the album. And she wouldn't do like what Whitney was doing. She would have to come up with like that perfect, like that pop persona. But then again, like I said, it would be a little too close to home. It's like, how do you portray that? So my other choice would have been Naomi Scott, but then, she would be compared to her performance in Smile too. So that's out. I also thought Rachel Ziegler, but she's so despised at the moment regarding her comments about Palestine and the changes made in Snow White. So I don't know if we should go with that. Y'all don't throw tomatoes at me, but I did throw in Jennifer Lopez. I was like, look, Jennifer is an actress. She sings and dances, regardless of how y'all feel about her vocals. She does sing. She gets in the booth, she lays down her tracks. They do a little yang, a little nip and tuck to the vocals, and she goes about her merry way. And she gets out there and gives a show. So I would like to see Jennifer do the Bodyguard. But I know y'all hating behinds will get all over social media and be like, hell no, I want to see head on my low head. You know, all the way, who they gonna get to sing for her, Ashanti? Like, I hear it all. So I guess we could just have to spare Hennifer. But then again, when I guess y'all see Kiss of the Spider Woman, which is getting rave reviews, then maybe y'all will change y'all tune. So there was two that I kind of boiled down to. I was like, maybe they would be good to be in the part. I did think Ariana Grande. But then again, when you have Ariana Grande go up against Idris Elba, Idris Elba will probably snap that girl in two, especially if they got to do a sex scene. Because she would have to fall in love with somebody. So you might have to make him younger. I would say if you want to go younger, maybe do like Ariana and Michael B. Jordan. I would say like maybe those could be, if y'all want to flip the script, you want to make it a white girl and a black guy. Because here's the thing, when it comes to the Bodyguard, I do not feel that the singer has to be black. The movie basically is about a pop star who hires a bodyguard, a former agent, to protect her from a crazy stalker. So they don't necessarily have to have a black girl. Just make sure you have somebody who can do both, who can act and who can sing. And if people get all upset or whatever, look. And if the movie turns out to be trash, we have the original movie that we can look back to. But then they're gonna come up with a new song because we don't need another damn cover of "I Will Always Love You." Like none of them can be touched. You know, you got Dolly Parton with the original version, and Whitney wound up taking that song and giving it a whole new life. So we need y'all to come up with a new song. Leave "I Will Always Love You" alone. We don't need a cover. So leave it, please. But if you can't get Ariana Grande, I was thinking maybe Screamer for Hudson. So those are my two choices that I'm boiling down to. But I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? And who do you think should be in the new Bodyguard remake? Me personally, I can't see Taylor Swift. I understand what Tyra said because Tay is a big name. She's a huge pop star. She can get a lot of butts and seats. I don't know for how long, but she could definitely get butts and seats, especially with the music. But I don't know how that transitions to the movie world, especially when you come from a place of you did Cats, you know, these other little situations. And those movies, you know, that wasn't enough to get people to come see the movies. Like people who buy music and go and support music is different than the whole movie world. So I can't see Taylor Swift doing it. But I definitely feel like she would be a name that could definitely get interest in a lot of people to come and see her in theaters. But I don't know if her fan base, the Swifties, would be there for repeat showings. So I definitely want to hear from y'all who y'all think would be good in the part if they don't go with Tay, or if they haven't been thinking about Miss Tay. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Mm. Hold on, because I know how to go up. Say sure, Tyra, sure. In some countries like Singapore, they're very, yes, they are very. I would never move to Singapore. I thought they were a little more open minded with homosexuality, though. Whitney was the Bodyguard, period. Yes, she was. But look, the people say the same thing about Wesley Snipes and Blade, but you know, if they're going to remake a movie, they're going to remake it regardless. But I do say this, if it boils down to it, and the movie is trash, at least we have the original. I saw that she moved to Australia recently as well. I did see an article and she talked about why she moved there. I didn't care enough to read it, but I did see that she moves. She lives in Australia. Not Life Size 3. Madonna was 54 in 2012, so Whitney was a little younger. Oh, okay. I know they were saying, you know what? I could, Rihanna would be cute. Rihanna got to take some acting lessons though. But Rihanna would be cute. I don't know why we didn't think of her. I was like, yeah, if we got Rihanna and Michael B. Jordan and that child, that would definitely be a good one. I guess maybe they should see if like she wants to do it. And that will also get Rihanna in the studio to make some. I mean, even though she said that this new album is coming, don't know when, but she said the new album was coming. And I would definitely like to see her in that part. She would be a good choice. I would like the Bodyguard remake. Oh, do y'all think Miley Cyrus should do it? I would like the Bodyguard remake to still be an interracial love story. Yeah, I want to see that too. You know what? Not Henry Cavill, child. Oh, Henry, that's a sexy ass man. But Henry Cavill, child, Rihanna and Henry Cavill. No, I do. I like Zendaya. Because Zendaya also sings, and she's a good actress. And she can bring the fashions because she got Law as her stylist. So I could definitely see Zendaya. This would probably be a way for her to push her acting out there. But I'm like, if they do Zendaya, then you need a white boy. So who would be good? Channing Tatum? Oh no, he way too old. He in his 40s. And Zendaya's in her 20s. Ooh, maybe we could do, I was gonna say Zendaya and Glenn Powell. Or is Glenn Powell don't look rough enough? Or we could do Daniel Sklenar since his career's on the rise. And everybody's got him out here talking about they want him to play Batman. So, and I know he's in Drop, which I haven't seen yet. I need to see that freaking movie. Then my father calls me earlier today. He's like, when he was in Atlanta, he said that him and his brother and all of them, they went to the movies. We was all pumped because they was going to go see Sinners. Not realizing Sinners comes out this week. So they went to the movies for nothing. And I'm like, y'all could have just looked online and see, like, and he's like, I know you got your connections and stuff. I'm not saying that I want you to get a ticket, but I want to go see it. But I'm like, you could have just said you want to go see the damn movie. So now I got to get tickets to go see Sinners because my father wants to go see the film. And I already know that I got to have, my mother's got to come along too. So I got to buy 3. So I already know how that works. And that's also a good way to see the parentals too. It's like, yeah, let's go to the movies and then y'all pay for the food. Because look, movies these days is expensive as hell. They is not cheap. Zendaya and Sebastian Stan. I like Sebastian Stan. Y'all think Sebastian Stan is a part of the community? I don't know. I get a vibe from him. I know he got a girlfriend, but guess what? So does Henry Cavill. He got a whole baby. What that mean? Zendaya's Zendaya. Could you imagine Zendaya and then you got Tom Holland? I was gonna say Tom Hardy. Zendaya and Tom Holland doing that. I don't know. People probably wouldn't be convinced because they probably like, he's too short. They want, it's all about aesthetics in Hollywood. So they're gonna want somebody that's like that looks like they could beat somebody's ass. So I can't see him wanting to do or them wanting to pick him to be in it because they're like, oh, he's short. And like with Tom Cruise being short, the way he be trying to have people stand next to him, where he be having them lifts in his shoes, or the girls kind of got to wear flats. Like when he was with Nicole Kidman, she had to wear flats around him. He's like, not too much. I don't know. Is it because you think Zendaya abandoned the music because the music really wasn't going nowhere? I mean, I did like Replay. That was a cute song. And you think maybe the music wasn't going nowhere and then the acting career really took off, so she was more focused on that than anything? So I wonder if that's I wonder if that's it. But yeah, I'm curious to definitely hear who they got in mind when they make this movie. But anyway, as far as the cast goes. But anyway, let's move on. And let's get into this American Psycho story. So now, one of the things I've always loved is Bret Easton Ellis's book, American Psycho. I also love the movie with Christian Bale. And you could just sense all the homoeroticism. I knew I wasn't going crazy back in the 2000s. Yeah, I was young then, and I didn't understand a lot that was going on. I just knew that when I looked at Christian Bale looked like a whole snack up in that damn movie. Running around half naked, always working out in the gym, always worrying about his skin and his regimen and trying to keep up with the whole situation of these men on Wall Street and all this other stuff. So I definitely sensed that there was this overall satirical tone to the movie because it was about masculinity and how a lot of these men wear this overall shield or this overall mask, metaphorically and literally. Because you see at the one point he peels the mask over his face, but it was like, in a way, and of course, in playing a serial killer, it kind of gives us this whole vibe. It's like, yeah, this mask that a lot of these men wear when they go up in the world of Wall Street. And it was this play on toxic masculinity and that sort of thing. So a lot of the men out here admiring Patrick Bateman, like he's some sort of icon. And the director of the film is saying a lot of you Wall Street bros are missing the freaking point of what the movie was about. So the movie came out back in 2000. I can't believe it's been that far back. And I read the book. And Bret Easton Ellis, who I mentioned is a homosexual, wrote it. So yeah, when you are a gay man, you can pretty much see the nuances because we have to float between the worlds. Like, when we out of the job or whatever the case is, we go live our best gay life in our own little ghettos and establishments, or we can let our freak flag fly. And then when you go out in that world of when you have to present some type of heteronormalcy with the type of job you have and all those other things, he understood what that world was. So this was a satirical take on Wall Street. So American Psycho director Mary Harron marked the 25th anniversary of her satirical thriller by speaking to Letterboxd Journal about how puzzling it is to see Wall Street bros idolizing Patrick Bateman, a sociopathic New York City investment banker and serial killer played by Christian Bale in the film. Now, as GQ magazine proclaimed a few years ago, TikTok's toxic worshiping of Patrick Bateman is another sign young men are lost. Saying, quote, I'm always so mystified by it. This is what Heron said. And she went on to say, I don't think that co-writer Genevieve, I think her name is Guinevere Turner, and I ever expected it to be embraced by Wall Street bros at all. That was not our intention. So did we fail? I'm not sure why it happened, because Christians very clearly making fun of them. But people read the Bible and decide that they should go and kill a lot of people. People read The Catcher in the Rye and decide to shoot the president. I was about to make a comment about that last one, but you want to know something? So that way I don't lose my channel. I'm gonna keep it to myself. So, but if you can read between the lines, if you know, you know. Now, Herrick understands that TikTok and memes have played a role in the idolization of Patrick Bateman because there's Bateman being handsome and wearing good suits and having money and power. But at the same time, he's played as somebody dorky and ridiculous. When he's in the nightclub and he's trying to speak to somebody about hip hop, it's so embarrassing that he's trying to be cool. And you know what? This also is a reflection of kind of like where our state of the world is now. When you look at a lot of these people in powerful places or those who want to be in close proximity of it, it feels like y'all are almost doing Patrick Bateman cosplay, because it's like when y'all try so hard to sound like you down, it's so hard for me to how to like hide my emotions. One being a Virgo, we wear our facial expressions on our face. Like literally, it's hard for us to try to hide our facial expressions. And then when we looking at it, it's like, do you know how dumb you sound? Like, stop, please, quit while you're ahead. You're making it worse than it already is. So, um, he was kind of playing it up, but I guess people were just so dumb that they weren't really paying attention to it. And I think a lot of times when it comes to situations like this, people are so surface based, they don't really look deep within to see like, okay, what was he really meaning by a lot of this that was going on? This need to be youthful and perfect and working out and having sex with as many women as he wants and then killing them and all this other stuff. So there was just a lot going on with that man. And then he also said that men could aspire to be Patrick Bateman is ironic considering Heron always viewed American Psycho as a homosexual man's satire on masculinity. Well, she said gay man, but you know I love saying the homosexual word. The film is based on the book of the same name by Bret Easton Ellis. She thinks Wall Street bros are missing that piece of the puzzle. And it's probably because of what you said, is that all they see is this guy, white dude, good looking, young, great shape, who they're looking at the money, they're looking at the power, they're looking at because they want those things. They want to be in close proximity of it. And they feel like if they attach themselves to people that have this toxic type of mentality, that they can attain that. And in the end, it's kind of like we looking through it and we can see like you just a dork. So yeah, and you'll remember this iconic photo. So Ellis being gay allowed him to see the homoerotic rituals among these alpha males, which is also true in sports and is true in Wall Street. And all these things where men are prizing their extreme competition and they're elevating their prowess kind of thing. There's something very, very gay about the way they're fetishizing looks in the gym. Yeah, because if you really think about it, they say a lot of times a lot of women don't really care about their men being overtly muscular and having like this perfect body. Like people automatically assume that, yeah, you're doing it either for yourself or you're doing it for other dudes when you're in the gym and trying to stay fit and all this other stuff. You're not really doing it because you're trying to bag a girl. A lot of it is vein based, and also because maybe you secretly you got homosexual tendencies. Now, Heron went on to say American Psycho is about a predatory society, one that is actually much worse today, saying the rich are much richer, the poor are poorer. I would never have imagined that there would be a celebration of racism and white supremacy, which is basically what we have in the White House. I would never have imagined that we would live through that. Now, Patrick Bateman will still be back on the big screen because we are getting a remake. And this is from Challenger's director Luca Guadagnino, who I remember him saying when it was first announced, and I believe Daniel RPK announced it, or it might have been Jeff Snyder. I'm not sure, but it was one of the usual scoopers that we talk about on the show. There was a rumor floating around that Luca was going to come on board and do his own version of American Psycho, which of course people got all upset about. But it's like maybe he's going to follow the book, which the movie did not. The movie kind of had its own. It took some of the things from the book, but it did not follow the book completely. So there was like this whole satirical situation that they took on it. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see how Luca goes with that. But if you've seen movies like Challengers, if you've seen Call Me by Your Name, if you've seen a lot of Queer, if you've seen a lot of the homosexual leaning movies that Luca has already done, I feel like he's probably going to take the more obvious approach, which would be lean more into the homoeroticism of this film. And he has Austin Butler. I don't know if it was announced officially, but the rumor is Austin Butler is going to be taking on the role originated by Christian Bale, which I guess is pretty good because I like Austin Butler. I think he's a great actor. So I would definitely love to see him in that part. The film script is being written by Scott Z. Burns and Austin Butler. Oh, they said it. He's been tipped to play Patrick, although no official casting has been announced yet. So if you care enough to read the full interview, it is on the Letterboxd Journal's website if you want to read the interview in its entirety. But I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, as somebody, as I said, I'm a fan of American Psycho. I love the book. I got to find it because I don't know where I put it. But I remember reading the book back then around the time when the movie came out. And I, enjoyed it. I don't remember a lot of it because it was back in 2000, like it was that long ago. So, I definitely want to read the book again. I definitely want to revisit American Psycho the movie because it's been a while since I've seen it. And then when the new one comes out, I'll definitely check that out. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to what the director of the original American Idol, American Psycho had to say about the overall thought process, the tone, what the movie was actually about? Because sometimes you got to spell things out to people. Because a lot of times things go over people's head. They don't get it. They just look at the surface stuff, which was the money, the power, the having all the things that you've been fighting so hard for, and all the crazy stuff. That's all they care about. They don't think about, okay, this is what this movie is truly about. So sometimes, like I said, you got to spell it out for people. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. She simply said she didn't like it. She has a whole song with Chris Brown too. Tom, on the other hand, was a musical theater kid. Meanwhile, Zendaya said she don't like what? She don't like replay. um. Oh yeah. Tom Holland is a musical theater kid. And he started out in the theater. Didn't he do what's that damn film with the about the Irish kid that wanted to tap dance? Didn't he do that? Billy Elliot. I could have sworn he did that. Actually, it would. And I like that movie with Charlie Sheen. So it's like, yeah. And who else was in that? Wasn't it Catherine Zeta Jones' husband is in that too? Michael Douglas. I know so many homosexual males who are obsessed with this movie, men with divorce parents. Okay. So that goes to show the director was on it in regards of the film. Are you familiar with the looks maxing community on social media? A bunch of bros obsessed with their looks. No. I have no idea. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. I'm like, what is that? I'm not surprised. First of all, she's a Virgo, so she ain't gonna take no ish from nobody. And it's like, yeah, the way the music industry runs, and the overall shadiness is behind the scenes, and the things that these kids have to go through. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I would stick to acting if I was her. And if you want to get back into musical and things of that nature, then maybe she could do Broadway, or she could do The Bodyguard. We're really trying to ship Zendaya over in that movie, right? Okay, so yeah, let's get to our next topic. Let's talk about Sean Kingston because we got an update on what's going on with him. So apparently, because I was like, how he get house arrest, but his mother was locked up. And somebody in the comments of my original story that I did on Sean and his mother, you know, the one who hairline start all the way halfway in the back, further back than Stephen A. Smith's, they basically was out there saying that, excuse me, um, damn, I forgot. Well, actually, I forgot what they said with the reason. I think it's because she had testified or something before, and so she had to go back to jail. Whereas he was at house arrest, and he was able to. He didn't have to like get locked up. But guess what? Now he in jail apparently because I guess he couldn't come up with the money to pay. I guess some sort of. Well, hold on. Let me just actually get to the story because I can't even remember exactly what it is. Now I sound like I'm not even prepared. But you know, his mother. I was trying to remember her name. Janice Turner. They were found guilty in a high-profile federal wire fraud case. So he could not post his $100,000 bond. Well, I guess with all that money they done stole from all them people over the years, who's gonna have the money? Of course, he don't have $100,000. So they said on Tuesday, April 15th, the beautiful girl singer was brought back into custody at the federal detention center in Miami for not paying the fee, according to local10.com. He was previously ordered home detention while they waited for sentencing, provided he did not pay the $100K. However, his lawyer confirmed that he has paid the amount in full. Mr. Kingston's bond has been posted and he is in the process of being released. This is according to Zelika Bozanek. They said now that Kingston is home detention continues, and he is being monitored via GPS. He is also handed over his passport. Last month, the Jamaican rapper and his mother, Janice Turner, were convicted of all charges in their federal wire fraud case. They were found guilty of stealing over $1 million in jewelry, cars, and more in what was called an elaborate ploy. So now federal agents raided Sean Kingston's home in May of 2024 and arrested both him and Turner. They received their official indictment on July of 2024. During the trial, the Image Award nominee reportedly cried when hearing the guilty verdict and expressed concern for his mother. Turner was labeled a flight risk and the nerve center of their fraud scheme. And that's why she was also locked up too, because they felt like she was a flight risk. And they also feel like that she had a hand in masterminding the whole situation. But he's up in there crying. But it's like, sir, if you ain't do the crime, you wouldn't be out here doing the time. So what you crying for? Y'all was out here doing all them Ponzi schemes and stealing people jewelry and money and all that other stuff. What you expect was gonna happen? Especially when y'all get a high amount. Like they're not gonna get you when you stealing like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, not even $1,000. They want you to get a little higher than that before all of a sudden they start, swinging the hammer down on you. So now Kingston burst, as you know, on the music scene in 2007 with Beautiful Girls, which peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. He also followed that with Take You There, the second single from his debut album, which went #6 on the Billboard 200. His career declined shortly after his 2009 hit Fire Burning. So his career literally lasted 2 years, which sounds about right. And Fire Burning was a good song. And, that was it. So I remember I said, he was a one-hit wonder. I made a mistake. He was a two-hit wonder because he had Fire Burning and Beautiful Girls. And I guess, yeah, he made a couple of songs for people in the back. Like he was producing and doing other stuff. That's cute or whatever. But we're not talking about what he did for other people. I'm talking about himself and what his placement is in the musical zeitgeist. So I'm just curious to find out when is the actual sentencing going to come down and how many years he going to do. Because if you sit up here trying to say you was a kid, well, his attorneys was trying to say this. Oh, he's a kid and da da da, and all this other stuff was going on with that. And it's like, but wait a minute. At some point, you're 35 years old, sir. So at some point, you got to be able to take responsibility for your own stuff and not just be so out here trying to blame it all on you being a kid because you're not a child. You was a child when you was like, well, I'll even give you the benefit of the doubt and say you're kind of a child when you're 21, 22, 23, even though they, in the legal sense, you are an adult, but still your mind is not fully caught up with your situation until your frontal lobe fully develops at 25, especially if you're a male. But we talk about 35. Like you are in your mid 30s And you had to have known what you was doing. The fact of the matter was you probably didn't think y'all was going to get caught. And you did. And now you got to pay the consequences for your actions. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to Sean Kingston back in federal custody? But now they say he paid his $100K. He's back under house arrest. And I guess now we just waiting for his sentencing, which is probably going to be, you're probably going to be in jail for a while, sir. But I think your mama probably going to do more time. And maybe you'll do less, but we'll just see and find out when the whole gauntlet comes down, what your whole sentences will be, and then we'll talk about it then. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So definitely let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Okay, so let's get to our next topic, and let's get into this Backstreet Boys story. So Nick Carter is finally breaking his silence on these R-word allegations. And I guess now he's speaking out because now he is facing a fourth accuser who has accused him of SA. So now he's speaking out. And sidebar, I heard that there's I don't know if it's out officially or whatever, but I did hear that there's a documentary in the works with him and his sister, where they were talking about Aaron and his death and everything. And I believe it's being directed by Soleil Moon Frye, who, played Punky Brewster on the show, on Punky Brewster back in the day. She was also on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So Soleil Moon Frye is a child star who directs. I think she's directed a couple of TV shows too. But anyway, let's get into this Nick Carter story. If this picture don't unblur. Thank you. So he's facing new legal trouble after being accused of repeatedly R-wording a woman, Laura Penley, starting when she was 19. Now 45, the Backstreet Boys singer is being sued for SA and emotional distress. Penley also claims he gave her multiple STDs. Carter is denying allegations. It says, it said he denies all allegations as baseless. Now, the latest accusation against the boy band member comes after he was accused of SA by multiple women in recent years. Now, Carter was denied the previous allegations, also claimed the current lawsuit claims were baseless via his attorney, Leanne K. Wakayama and Dale Hayes Jr. They claim to TMZ that Penley's lawsuit just more of the same nonsense designed to inflict maximum damage on Nick and his family. According to Penley, she met Carter in 2004 when she was 19 years old. She alleges that they began a consensual relationship over several weeks, which included trysts at an apartment in LA where they would spend time together and have relations. The plaintiff claims that she asked Carter to wear a condom when they were intimate. However, he allegedly refused and said that he was clean, meaning that he was free of any STDs. You know what else? I hate when people say that they're clean. I hate that because it just sounds gross to me when people, I'm clean. So according to Penley, she visited the LA apartment in early 2005, but told Nick she didn't want to have sex that day. He allegedly responded by telling her the only reason she was at the apartment was so that they could have sex. Now, Penley claims that the Backstreet Boys member proceeded to lift her in the air and throw her onto his bed. She says he pushed her over to the side of the bed and penetrated her pudenda from behind, even as she said no to him repeatedly. Now, Penley claims that Carter did not use a condom when he allegedly R-worded her. Afterwards, she alleges that he told her to never speak of the R-word because she would never be believed. Now, despite the distressing way in which they parted, she claimed that Carter reached out to her several months later to apologize and ask her to visit him again. But the next meeting in LA was allegedly a repeat of the previous assault. As Penley claimed, she again told Carter she didn't want to have sex after he brought her into his bedroom. Her lawsuit contends that she refused sex multiple times, and then after Carter allegedly penetrated her against her will, she says she repeatedly asked him to stop. Beyond the traumas in the alleged SA, Penley says that she tried to deal with being diagnosed with multiple STDs, which she accuses Carter of infecting her with, or saying that she had to deal with them. She alleged in the lawsuit that she had never had unprotected sex prior to her relationship with Carter, indicating that she believed him to be the culprit. She allegedly tested positive for HPV, chlamydia, and gonorrhea. Penley also says that she was diagnosed with cervical cancer. Girl, I mean, not girl as in her, but girl as in Nick Carter. Child, you don't be going to the doctor to check things like you don't be getting no burning and stuff down there. Like, how you running around with HPV, like you gave her the human papilloma virus, you gave her chlamydia and the gonorrhea, and you don't be getting no kind of discharge. Like you walking around with like giving people STIs and things, like you nasty. And no shade, but Nick Carter do kind of give like I be giving burner teas. Like he do look like he be burning the girls. Now the vast majority of cervical cancer cases are caused by HPV, according to the Mayo Clinic. Though most women who have the virus will not develop cervical cancer. Penley claims in her lawsuit that Carter gave her the HPV, which allegedly led to her developing the cervical cancer. As a result of the illness, Penley says that she had to have surgery and suffered through cancer treatments. She also claims that the alleged SAs led to her suffer various traumas, including emotional distress, physical anguish, medical issues, and intimacy issues, among other problems. Penley is seeking damages from Carter in her lawsuit. Now, the singer's attorneys, that would be Leanne and Dale, said in a statement to TMZ. They said, quote, "It is just more of the same nonsense from a gang of conspirators and their lawyers who continue to abuse the justice system to try to ruin Nick Carter. It's drawn from the same predictable playbook, lie in wait for decades until Mr. Carter is celebrating a professional milestone, then hide behind litigation privilege to make utterly false claims in an attempt to inflict maximum damage on Nick and his family." Well, they said he's celebrating professional milestone. What is that? Is that him doing the They aren't don't them actually have a residency in Vegas? Is that what he referring to? Because what musical milestone? Inquiring Minds want to know. Now, according to Carter's attorney, he doesn't remember even meeting Penley or having a relationship with him, or saying sexual relationship. They also allege that his accuser has a documented history of financial and legal trouble, has filed for bankruptcy, and has been sued for fraud. Well, look, if she want to bring that to court, bring it up. Notably, multiple women who have accused Carter of SA have also alleged that they tested positive for HPV afterward. Shannon Shea Ruth claimed in 2022 that she tested positive for HPV after he allegedly SA'd her on a tour bus in 2001. In 2023, singer Melissa Schumann sued Carter for allegedly SAing her in 2002 in LA by forcing her to perform and receive a baloney wash from him when she was 18 and he was 22. They said that she had to perform a bologna wash and he ate her box. So, it's funny, I'm trying to clean it up, but I come up with something even more vulgar. She also claimed that she tested positive for HPV. So all the girls got HPV. And, Melissa Schumann was from the group Dream, right? If I'm not mistaken. Another woman accused Carter of SAing her on a yacht in 2003 while multiple men watched also claimed that she developed HPV afterwards. Carter has denied all the accusations and launched lawsuits against his accusers. Now, in February 2023, he countersued Ruth, claiming she cost the Backstreet Boys $2.35 million with her accusations. And I want to know how so. Is it because with the allegations that it prevented people to come pay for any Backstreet Boys merch or to come see y'all perform, whatever the case is? Or are you talking about your legal fees that you had to accumulate and pull out all this money to fight all these allegations for multiple women? But he also named Schumann in his lawsuit, claiming that she had coached Ruth, and in August of 2024, he launched a countersuit against Schumann. Now, in April of last year, Schumann and other women who have accused Carter of SA appeared in the documentary Fallen Idols, which also explored his late brother Aaron Carter's struggles with drug addiction. Now, prior to Aaron's death, he publicly spoke out in support of the women accusing his older brother. So, yeah, they weren't on good terms before, he passed away, because he came out here and pretty much said, that was like, yeah, I stand in solidarity with the women. So he must know something. But, Aaron's not here anymore to defend or defend himself or even have the conversation. So, yeah, that's all that's on the thing. I know it's a lot, but I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops, but I want to hear from you. Based on what you heard, what do you think of this story in regards to Nick Carter? Do y'all think he's guilty? Do you think these girls are making it up? So whatever your thoughts are on this matter, I want to hear from you, so let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Depends on how involved he was and how much they took. So they also directed a documentary, Kid 90, which was good. She had a lot of home movies from her teen years in it, and she talked to some of the big TV actors in the 90s. I always say right what you know. And she talked about Jonathan Brandis and how much she missed him. Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Brandis, I liked him. I was a Jonathan Brandis fan. That was sad. Hello, everyone. Cleveland Legends is in the building. I see Nick just turned 40. Oh, he just turned. I thought he was trying to throw a read and be like, oh, yeah, you look every bit of 40. I thought that's what you was getting at. But, um, and based off of everything, because I know I probably didn't say it enough, I was like, I'm glad that you enjoyed, seeing Miss Minogue in concert. I know Robert's going to see her on Saturday. But yeah, Miss Kylie is turning it up. I have one friend that actually flew from LA. I mean, is she not doing LA? Because he flew from LA to see her in Orlando, which is crazy. Most folks don't get raped only to go back. Yeah, that's you want to know something? I was saying the same thing. I'm like, wait a minute. They said he called months later to apologize, and then wanted her to come over, and then she went back, and then he did the same thing again. I'm like, are you slow? Like, if somebody did that to me, I'd be way too traumatized to want to go back for seconds. I ain't doing all of that, child. I remember when it was announced Aaron died, Nick broke down, and they dedicated a song to him at their concert. Well, yeah, at the end of the day, I know that's his brother, but they didn't have the best relationship. Said a Minogue concert and shopping spree. LA is the last US show. Why did I think it was, I'm thinking, I'm thinking, yeah, you're talking about the US. But I was like, wait a minute, she's supposed to still be touring. I know her tour is over in August, but then she's got to go overseas and do a couple of those shows. So that's probably why the people is mad, because she's done a couple of shows overseas. She's doing mostly America, and then she's going to go back overseas. And people are getting mad because Kylie is being shared with the American market, and the Europeans don't like the fact that they sharing their girl with us. With us. And it's like, y'all can still have her, but we live for Kylie Minogue. Kylie Minogue has a great she has a big fan base out in the US. And I love the fact that now is the time where she could really give a proper show and show her appreciation to American market. Yeah, she came back a couple of years, a while back with her For Me For You tour. And then, gave us a little show. But we like her too over here. LA isn't doing good for shows due to recover. Oh, so that's probably what it is. Maybe it's not. She's not doing shows out there. So that's probably why some people got to fly out over there. Because I know, like, yeah, LA is probably suffering because of the wildfire. You said she's doing Canada next, and then Mexico and the UK. I heard a lot of the homosexuals are moving to Canada because of who and his mess. All right. Ooh, it's debate time. So let's get into this story. So apparently, Billboard decided to take a trip down memory lane. And by memory lane, they decided to travel 20 years back, where they want to look at the year 2005, where Gwen Stefani's Hollaback Girl was the song of the year that everybody was, well, I guess the song at the time, because she technically wasn't the song of the year. That's going to go to Mariah Carey, but we'll talk to that about that in a second. So people are, so in regards to the whole situation where they was talking about Hollaback, 2005's top female song, she beat out songs such as Mary J. Blige's Be Without You, which she did perform on her recent tour that I worked. Mary sounded good, by the way, and looked good. Mariah Carey's We Belong Together and Madonna's Hung Up. Now, even though Billboard's actual year-end chart for 2005 ranks Carey's We Belong Together as the year's overall top song, which I should say is rightfully so, given its historic domination of the Hot 100, the list was based on commercial performance. So the magazine list printed on Tuesday, April 15th, is based on Critics' Choice and places The Emancipation of Mimi smash at number 2 among women. So they said the following, quote, Stefani established herself as the head cheerleader of pop music with its irresistible hip-hop inspired hit, bringing the whole marching band along for the ride in the horn-heavy production. Well, that's Pharrell's production, by the way, complete with bleacher stomping backbeat and the high school set music video, which finds her as both the drum major and a black beanie bad girl. They said about about Hollaback Girl was spent 4 weeks as #1 on the Hot 100 in 2005. With the Neptunes produced song, she created a lane for herself that at once parlayed her cool girl bona fides from No Doubt while breaking new pop ground. Because it was like, yeah, she was that cool chick that was a part of, No Doubt, and then she needed a way to transition into her own solo endeavor. And we love that Love Angel Music Baby album. Like that was like a lightning in a bottle type moment. Like all the songs on that record. Cool was a hot song. What You Waiting For? Gave Me My Life. Um, and of course, Holla Back Girl. I mean, look, she taught a lot of y'all how to spell bananas. Bananas. So that was what was so iconic about it. And I remember one time back in the day, because this takes me back, and I do remember I was in Splash, and a lot of times during happy hour, and it was like a couple of my friends and stuff was in there bartending. So I used to live and going up in there. And my friend Raven Roscoe, who's a drag queen, who's now out in LA, she used to do parties and stuff out there. So that's how, and we still remain friends to this day. But uh it was like happy hour and they play like music videos and stuff on the screens, and so of course Hollaback Girl comes on. I knew all the words, and so I would get up there and just recite the whole thing all drunk and stuff, and everybody was living, and I'm just over there living my life. And those were the days. It was like, damn, that was 2005. Child, let me tell you, the club scene was popping in the 2000s. It ain't like that no more, especially in New York. But yeah, it was. And so, rightfully so, I do think that this is a great song. And she definitely deserves her flowers for that. Now, in regards to her career now, where the music is going, she's a mess because now the word on the curb is Gwen Stefani trying to put out some old religion church music or Christian music. Now she's trying to get in the whole Christian bag because before she tried to do the country thing with Bouquet and work with her husband. Y'all didn't give a damn about that music, so y'all chopped her, and that was like, no, next. And now the word on the curb is now she's trying to get in the whole Christian bag because of the little app that she's the Christian prayer app or whatever, and her association with MAGA, and the rumors that she's a Trump supporter because of who she's married to. So Gwen is doing an overall, an overall overhaul of her aesthetic. So she's not that cool chick anymore. So I guess now at this point we can just remember her as was and not who she is today. And then we'll say like, what, the cool chick is Shirley Manson. So I want to go through the list. We'll go through the top 15 of Billboard's top female songs of 2005 chosen by their staff. So at number 15 is Mary J. Blige's Be Without You. At number 14, we have Sierra's O. At number 13, we got Carrie Underwear's Jesus Take the Wheel and Drive Fast. We have number 12 with Mariah Carey, Shake It Off. Number 11, Pussycat Dolls, Don't Ya. Coming at number 10 is A. Marie's One Thing with Sidebar. Shout out to A. Marie. I'm here. She's finally getting herself a Tiny Desk special. So I'm looking forward to seeing that when that airs. Because I'm like, yes, I'll love me some A. Marie. The way she was done dirty by this music industry and certain people still on her sound. Y'all know who y'all are. And her not being able to parlay that success because Touch, I live for that album. That's like my favorite A. Marie record. I listen to that album often. And the beats and everything on that album just gave me my life. And A. Marie was in her bag at that point. So One Thing is definitely iconic. And that's a Rich Harrison production. Whatever happened to Rich Harrison? So at number 9, we have Imogen Heap's Hide and Seek. Number 8, we have Shakira's La Tortura. Number 7, we have Kelly Clarkson Behind These Hazel Eyes. I do love that song. Number 6, we have Missy Elliott and Sierra's Lose Control. At number 5, we have Madonna with Hung Up. At number 4, we have, of course, Natasha Bedingfield's Unwritten because, everybody wanted to feel that rain on your skin. And no one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. Okay? So that was like her biggest hit. Then at number 3, we have Rihanna's Pon de Replay. Wait, Rihanna came out in 2005? Damn. I feel like it was like that was when she got Pon de Replay. That was like her first song. I can't believe it was 2005. Damn, time flies. So that's 20 years that Riri been out here making music. Well, less than that because she ain't gave us a new album in 8 years, damn near. So, and then number 2, we have Mariah Carey's We Belong Together. And at number 1, we have Gwen Stefani's Hollaback Girl. So, yes, while that, you know, Mariah comes in second in regards to the whole top female song of 2005. Yes, let's reiterate what it was said before, that We Belong Together is the year's overall top song because of its historic domination on the Hot 100. But in that case, it came in at number 2 among women. So in general, yes, it was the hot. We Belong Together was the biggest song. But if we're talking about women placement, Mariah comes in second, Gwen Stefani comes in first because Gwen basically had the Billboard charts, she had the gays, she had all of us on lock with that track. So like I said, she taught everybody how to spell bananas. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of that list? Do y'all agree with the list? And was y'all out here living y'all best like the Hollaback Girl like I was back in 2005, which was 20 years ago? So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Song of the 2000s, Decade We Belong Together, Song of the Year, 2005, Hollaback Girl, and '04 Baby. Lambs are screaming foul that she even lost to Mr. Bryce. Well, look, Mr. Brightside, that song is still iconic. I tell you, when I be at the Garden and we have the karaoke cam moment of the show, that's like when we take it could be a media break or we do like a halftime break or whatever, which is like 15 minutes. We'll put on the karaoke cam and it's usually Mr. Brightside, and people get up and they start singing the song at the top of their lungs, or they have like the little fake microphone and they sing into it. So we do a whole production at the Garden, especially when it's like a Knicks game, which I'm still waiting on my schedule for those playoff the playoff dates. But yeah, so Mr. Brightside is like one of the main songs that we play a lot at the Garden. Not we ain't playing Mariah Carey. So I don't know why so I don't know why the Lamb's getting all upset. It's like, yeah, your girl is your girl. She has a lot of her hit number ones or whatever the case is. But in regards of like, yeah, I could definitely see the Killers outranking the song. No one's saying that We Belong Together ain't a good song. It is. But in regards to Mr. Brightside, it's like, yeah, that's a more iconic song because like I said, even at events and stuff, people are singing it still. Love Angel Music Baby is one of my favorite albums ever. Cool is still one of my favorite songs. I saw a Sweet Escape CD at a Goodwill, and I wish I would have. But you don't have the. Yeah, because I actually, when that album came out, she had on that Ann Jillian wig with the bangs. If y'all don't know who Ann Jillian is, look her up. She was on this show back in the day called It's a Living. So I always compare people that have that blonde dude with the bangs to her. So yeah, that was but yeah, Sweet Escape, that was a good record. It wasn't as iconic as Lamb, but it was good. She always been a completely shameless culture vulture, but get your buddy. I mean, well, yeah, there's that too. Not Gwen Stefani. I'm just glad that Girls Aloud Biology was included and Be Mine by Robin made my day despite not appearing on the Hot 100. You can't mistake my biology the way oh yeah, I did see that those songs was on. I was like, oh, they got Be Mine by Robin up on it. And I did see that Girls Aloud was on there. Yeah, because I was confused. I was like, wait a minute, this list is all wrong. But what they were talking about was in regards of women placement. It wasn't talking about in general. Because they have the whole in general list. So they were just placing the women. Nina Bonina Brown just did a music review on A. Marie's Touch album an hour ago. I love Sierra. Oh, Goodies was the number one song on Billboard when I was born. Child, he said when I was born. It's like, yeah, I was born when Goodies came out. I was like, God damn, not I. I was a full-fledged adult. But yeah, that Touch album is still iconic to this day. And we need A. Marie back out here now. Not Angeline. Mm-hmm. Well, hello, Pink. Well, hello, Pink Car and her Pink ensembles. I remember when I used to read Delisted. Delisted was obsessed with MK over at Delisted, the blog, was obsessed with Angeline. I used to do a slut of the day. That was always funny with him. And Jillian was on. Yeah, that's what I said. And Jillian was on It's a Living. And that's why I used to talk about because of the hair, the blonde wig. I wish Robin would do it. Who you telling? She another one. She like the electronic equivalent of Sade. Like you only drop an album every decade. We do need some new music, niece. All right, y'all. So let's see. How many more topics do we have until the end of the show? Okay, so we got 4 more topics left before we can wrap this thing up. So before we get to the final 4, can you do me a solid? If you have not already, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I realized I'm trying to straighten out the mic. I'll definitely be putting in timestamps when the live stream is over, so that way you can just follow along with the current topics if you don't want to hear the banter that we do in between the topics that I get to during the live feed. Okay, please and thank you. Now, without further ado, let's get into this story about Mickey Rourke, who just kicked out the big celebrity Big Brother house. Sidebar, shout out to Tommy Italiano. He always be sending me stuff in over on TikTok and Messenger because he's been doing a lot of coverage on the whole celebrity Big Brother debacle. And he be hitting me up. I mean, well, sending to me to like check out the video. So shout out to him. You know, Todrick's former assistant. So that's what, you know, I refer to him as that because that's what y'all mostly know him as. But yeah, he's been out here doing the whole entertainment thing on the tiki-taki. So yeah, Mickey Rourke, who literally looked like he was beating the face with a meat tenderizer, and then they tried to, you know, fix it by injecting his face with a bunch of damn Fix-A-Flat. He's basically saying that he's reportedly planning to sue celebrity Big Brother bosses after they cost him a big payday by booting him out. So this is according to Us Weekly. So they said, quote, Big Brother is now refusing to pay Mickey his full agreed upon fee. His legal team is currently pursuing the matter. This is what Rourke's rep, Kimberly Hines, claimed in a statement to Us Weekly. To use his name and image in this way after a long and accomplished career is an insult to a true cinematic. Now, look, do I gotta finish it? Because I cannot read these bold-faced lies. Now, they said to use his name and image in this way after a long and accomplished career. Well, long and accomplished? Like where? Like, Mickey, you didn't have that big, long and accomplished career. Yeah, you did a couple of movies. You did 9.5 weeks and a couple other films, but then you kind of disappeared. And then you came back with The Wrestler, and then you got a BAFTA award for that. You were Oscar nominated, and then you kind of vanished again. I mean, you did do a couple of parts in, like, you did like little cameo roles in the Expendable movies. But outside of that, Mickey, we ain't really been seeing you outside like that. Not on the A list. So yeah, they said after a long and accomplished career as an insult to a true cinematic icon, it disregards his legacy and crosses the line of basic respect, both within the industry and on a personal level. Now, Hines claimed that the producers were fully aware of Rourke's public persona, which they described as a Hollywood rebel image. Saying, quote, they knew his presence would be explosive, controversial, and attention-grabbing, and that's exactly what they got and more. They even promoted his provocative personality, which has already been well documented in the press and has become even more evident since the show aired. Well, it is a reality show, and you know, y'all are on 24/7. This is not like, you know, some regular reality show like the RuPaul's Drag Race or The Challenge or Big Brother. Well, not, well, yeah, Big Brother is kind of similar to Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother, which is like, yeah, y'all are in a house, y'all are being constantly recorded, you're on a live feed there, and they're broadcasting kind of like the edited stuff. But you can go online and you could just watch everything just happening in real time. But if you want the fully zhuzhed up, edited version where they, you know, stitch all the best parts in like an hour or whatever, then you can watch that. I kind of wish I could watch this Celebrity Big Brother out here, but it's the UK. So the only way I know about what's going on is through the press. But at what point does Mickey Rourke come to terms with the fact that, yeah, they hired him because they knew he would be controversial, but I don't think they knew that this is how he would act once he got in the house. Because when it comes to reality TV, they're always looking for controversy. They're always looking for drama. That's how you make good television. You need that drama. You need that conflict. But when you threatening people, when you making disgusting comments towards one of the queer roommates, and basically saying that if you stay in the house a little longer, you're going to turn her straight. I'm paraphrasing, but y'all get the gist of the situation. How are people supposed to react to that? So yeah, you can be controversial all you want, but you got to watch the things you say, especially or if you're going around trying to threaten people and stuff. So they probably thought like, yeah, he's gonna be controversial and it'll be good for the show, but we didn't know he was gonna go that far. So now, according to TMZ, Hines alleged that Rourke was later informed that the network would only cover hotel rooms up to 300 per night. Rourke has reportedly booked a hotel which cost him an estimated $50,000. Where the hell was you staying? And it said Hines told the outlet that the Celebrity Big Brother producers were aware of the risk of Rourke saying something controversial, and they got what they wanted from him before sending him out with barely arrived to the airport. So now Us Weekly has reached out to Rourke and Celebrity Big Brother UK for comment. So as y'all know, he was one of 13 stars to the house guests that's on the UK interaction of the reality series. And on April 12th, it was announced from the news, because of his erratic behavior, that he has been removed from the show. So they say, yeah, Mickey Rourke has agreed to leave the Celebrity Big Brother house this evening following a discussion with Big Brother regarding further use of inappropriate language and incidences of unacceptable behavior. Before his expulsion, Rourke received a formal warning following an encounter with fellow competitor JoJo Siwa. He told the Dance Moms alum that if he stayed in the house longer than 4 days, you won't be gay anymore, which offended her because it's like you literally saying like you need to she ain't been around the proper penis that could turn her straight, which is what a lot of these disgusting straight men think. That, oh, it's a phase. You ain't had the right one come along. No, she's a lesbian. She like pussy. She don't like you. She don't like what you come attached with. So I don't care how many dicks you put in her face. It's not going to change who she is. Just like it could be the same thing with the homosexuals, the male kind. No matter how many hot pockets you put in a man's face, he not going to stick out his tongue and get the licking. Now, don't necessarily mean they won't participate in some stuff and meat don't get hard because he's a man at the end of the day. It ain't hard to get your dick up. But if that's not what you into sexually, I'm not going to partake in that situation. So now Rourke did express his regrets over his behavior on the reality series and apologized in his exit episode, which aired on April 13th. So that was this past Sunday. He said, I stepped over the line. I take full responsibility for doing the wrong thing. I lost my temper and I've been trying to work on it my whole life. And I wish I would have had better self-control. I'm very sorry. I'm ashamed of myself for losing it for a few seconds there. So yeah, so I mean, look, that he apologized when he said it to one of the guys in the house because that's what caused him to get kicked out, and then or to have him leave. And then the same thing happened with JoJo Siwa. He said something disrespectful. They called him out on it. He apologized. He blamed it on he has a short fuse and a temper, and that's something he's working on. But like I said, sir, you are 72 years old. At some point, when do we grow up? Y'all can't come out here and just be using that I'm old or whatever as an excuse. Like at some point, you got to be able to get that under control. They got medication for that. So yeah, I don't think you have a case on the matter. I mean, maybe there's a clause that was like, if y'all get kicked out at any time, hopefully there's a clause, because if it's not, then maybe y'all will have to pay out. But there should be a clause like, if you do not fulfill the whole thing where it's like, okay, maybe you have to be eliminated from the house before you get your full fee or whatever the case is. But if you get kicked off the show, then yeah, we're not liable for any financial compensation and you're not getting your full fee, whatever that is, which I'm sure is probably why he did it. So yeah, I want to hear from y'all in regards to this story. Do y'all think that he's going to be able to be financially compensated over? Do you think he has a case? I guess is what I'll say on this matter. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. So let me close all these windows and let's see what the people are saying in the comments. When you research HPV, 10,000 of people have it, especially men. Human papillomavirus. Didn't I say that? I know I was getting tongue tied. Papillococcal virus is not typically detected on a standard sexually transmitted disease test, and that's why they said it develops into like cervical cancer. HPV is usually screened for through a pap smear or HPV test, which is specifically designed to detect the virus in cervical cells. These tests are typically recommended for women. Well, thank you for the education on this matter. You know, we definitely love a little STI recommendation. Well, not recommendation because nobody recommends getting one. But thank you for giving us the information on this matter. Because a lot of times I ain't got time to Google schmoogle. But if y'all got the thing, put it in the comments. He even did the Masked Singer, but took off his mask because he didn't want to wear it. So he's so annoying. He's like, I ain't want to. Okay, well then you don't want to get paid, dummy. I was able to watch a few seasons on YouTube. They have this season with Jenna Jameson, Farrah Abraham. Damn, they got all the porn stars on there except Janice Dickinson, and also the season New York did when they found out David Bowie died. Yeah, and they said something about the David who I think was there was something or another that went and New York went and twisted the whole thing, and it was like that's not what I said. New York is a mess. He looks like an old Les school teacher with light makeup competing on Gemini. He do look a mess. I was like, remember back in the day when Mickey Rourke was fine as hell? Not no more. Mickey needed to take several seats. He created the whole mess, and now he think he being victimized. Well, that sounds just like how them snowflakes do. Meanwhile, if we told Mickey we could turn him gay, he would be ready to fight. Okay, especially because he was the reason why his face looked like that because he got into boxing. Not the Hot Pockets. He said he looked like an old Mexican woman in cowboy gear in that other pic. Okay. Nene Leaks up. Oh, okay. Well, I will definitely be checking that interview out, and I'll probably come on here tomorrow. And so, but look, I got so much stuff to watch. I gotta finish watching the finale. I gotta watch the finale of Dexter. Child, I did not see that twist coming, where who the killer is in the thing. So look, this is the second time. Well, I don't know if y'all watch it, but I'm like, damn, this is the second time Patrick Dempsey playing a damn serial killer. Thanksgiving and now Dexter season 1. So now, well, the prequel one. So I'm like, I gotta watch that. I gotta finish watching Daredevil, Born Again, because the finale was last night. We got Andor season 2 coming next week, so I gotta catch up on all my shows. Plus, I be getting so wrapped up in YouTube and trying to catch up on everything that's going on. Like, I'm so overwhelmed with all the crap that Trump's been doing, and Kyle Kalinske has definitely been keeping me up to date. Sidebar: I cannot with you, Don Lemon. I like you, but you did that little panel interview thing you did today. He had Brian Michael Cohen, David Pakman, and Cenk Uygur on his show. I'm like, why would you have that moron from freaking the Young Turks on your show talking about Donald Trump? But you do your show how you do yours, and I guess I'll do my show how I do mine. But I saw it was on there while I was going before I went live because he came on at 5, and I came on at like 5:20. So, but that's a lie though, because Tamika did not kick her out of the group. Even Candy will go on the record and tell you that's not what happened. And plus, you was running around talking about how. See, Nene, shout out to you because you getting all the controversial interviews. But I hope you didn't interview her like Alex Cooper. Like you really went in and try to get some questions and really like kind of ping pong the whole thing. Because I can't with a lot of y'all that just stick with y'all cue cards and don't know how to properly interview the people that y'all are interviewing. So I'll definitely check that out and see if like tomorrow we'll talk about it because I'm sure that's gonna be the big story, especially in the black blogs. When Nene Leakes talking about Miss Tasha, but Tasha out here trying to play the damn victim. Cause yeah, like I said, Candy will tell you that's a lie. Cause she was like, you was running around talking about how you wanted to come out with this gospel album and you wanted to go solo and you ain't need the group. And every time we was trying to do stuff, you was acting like you was too big for the group and stuff. And now you kind of just left and now you want to blame them. You got to take it. And just like with Mickey Rourke, some of y'all got to stop playing the victim and take responsibility for your participation in the mess. She thought it was David Guess who died, so she freaked out because she thought he died. And well, I know who David Guess. Guess. David Guess. I know who he is because that's how you should say it. Speaking of which, we're going to see Liza with a Z this Friday on RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm looking forward to that. So that's gonna be a good one. All right, y'all. So now let's get into some homosexual news, and let's talk about Lil Nas X, who apparently had of partial face paralysis in his, the other day. He was showing he was in the hospital, and he said he couldn't move his face. I did see somebody online, and I was like, y'all are real shady for that. They said, They said, I can't feel my face when I'm with you. Oh, wait, wrong artist. It's like, y'all need to stop. Like Bell's palsy, well, I'm assuming that's what it is, because usually when you get that partial face paralysis, it's usually Bell's palsy, which I will admit, I had that back in the day. I think I was in my 20s when I had it. I freaked out. Like literally, I think it was like the right side of my face just like froze. It was like stuck. And I was like, it sloped a little bit. So it was like once the whole side of my face. I don't know what caused that. I was thinking it had to have been stress. And I know at the time I was going through a lot of stuff. So I think that's what it was. And so what happened with me was I had to keep like massaging my face and moving it around and doing stuff. And then eventually it came out of that. But child, I was going through it. I was like, I ain't gonna be walking around here with, my face looking like the Elephant Man or Quasimodo. So the video uploaded on Instagram on April 14th. Let me see if I can find the video and pull it up and see if he's actually, because I know I had his Instagram. I do. Hold on. Let's see what he had to say.
Oh. This is me doing a full smile right now, by the way. It's like, what the fuck? Bro, I can't even laugh right, bro. What the fuck? Oh my God. So, oh my God, bro. So, yeah. And when I smile, this is me doing.
Okay, so yeah, so he basically said that he couldn't show his face. I mean, he couldn't show his face. He's showing y'all his face. He said he couldn't move his face, and he was talking about how he's so cooked. And like, who just, I love the fact that you making fun of it, because it's like you better you come out than them, and other people try to read you on what's going on with you, so get ahead of it. But I do wonder what it stands for. Is it stress? Are you out here doing booger sugar? Like, I don't know. Like, what's the tea? What's going on? Miley was good. So now in the comment section, he had some fans and some celebrity friends came out and gave their opinion. So Taraji P. Henson wrote, "Get well, baby." Wanda Sykes commented, "Get well, love. Sometimes your body tells you to sit down somewhere, rest up." He did come out with a new EP, which was cute or whatever. I don't hear nobody really, it's not really on a lot of people's radar. I'm surprised he's not doing the LadyLand Festival. So, it said shortly after uploading, the musician gave a closer look at both sides of his face in Instagram stories and said, "We normal over here. We get crazy over here." And then said, "I'm so cooked." But I should also point out there was other celebrities that jumped in the comments too. So you had Dominique A.R. Jackson, that would be Tyra A. Ross, as we used to call her, Tyra Allure, back in the day. Miss Electra from Pose said, "Sending you love, get well soon, my love. You are amazing." Garbage jumped in the comments and said, "Sending you love." Oh, I see my friend DJ Baker was up in there, said, "Damn, I had that twice. You'll get better and you'll be back soon." Will's AR, I don't know. I can't understand who that name is, because some of y'all be coming up in here with these weird ass names. So a lot of people were sending like love and healing and things of that nature. So yeah, Lil Nas X is going through it. So oh yeah, they said a New York City gay dad, or NYC gay dad, said Bell's palsy more common than people think. I've had it twice. Stressful, but you got this. Just don't eat spaghetti because it'll slide out the other side of your mouth. Damn, somebody said this happened to me when I was 5, and it was Bell's palsy, and I had picture day the next day. Damn. First of all, how'd you get Bell's palsy at 5? And I'm like, oh wait, I'm on the wrong damn thing. I was sharing the actual article. So it was like, yeah, it was like, how do you get Bell's palsy at 5? Like, that's crazy. So Lil Nas X, good luck to you. Hopefully you can get out of it. I know he has as I said, he has a new EP called Days Before Dream Boy. It came out last month. Like I said, I don't know how well it's doing on the charts, but he did speak on it. And oh, I must have closed the Instagram, because I was going to go back to the Instagram page to see if there was, anything else. So he also said that Yeah, I want to be completely free out there, only doing the things that I want to do. If I do not want to do it, I'm not doing it. This is what he told people at the Glad Media Awards in Los Angeles on Thursday, March 27th. He said, if I don't want to be there, I'm not going to be there. I think it's more important than ever to really stand in myself and my power and recognize where I'm taking my energy and where I don't want to take it. And look, if you don't ever get to a place where he could be as big as like the gay equivalent of Taylor Swift or whatever the case is, then I guess that's fine. He can do small venues for the rest of his life, put out his music. He's got his core fan base who love and appreciate him and let him do his thing. As long as he ain't got to compromise who he is, I'm here for Lil Nas X. But I'm hoping that what happens in this situation is that, you know what? Yeah, Bell's palsy, it is very common. It's something I've had. I haven't had it multiple times, but I had it once. And there's always been this fear that I would get it back. But I know it's got to do with like stress and all that other stuff. And at the time, I was going through some things, so I totally get it. But just rest up, get well, get better. When your face gets on point, then you can get back out here and promote this music and start touring it, because I know you need to make some coin off this EP. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to Lil Nas X revealing that? Well, they didn't say what he had, but clearly it's Bell's palsy. One person did jump in the comments and it was like, is this the same thing that Justin Bieber has? I was like, no, Justin Bieber has Ramsey Hunt syndrome, which is like he has like nerve, like some weird nerve twitch or whatever that goes on in his face. So it has nothing, it's not, I don't think it's the same, as similar as Bell's palsy, but Bell's palsy is something completely different. So yeah, that's two completely different things. So I had to point that out to the people. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I was like, why am I getting so many messages? Hold on a second. I should not be checking my messages in the middle of. Oh, anyway, let me get out of here. Okay, let's see what the people are saying in the comments. Well, yeah, when they did that SWV and Escape show, she couldn't be bothered. We saw all the evidence in the reality show, so I wonder what people saying in the comments, because I know they reading Natasha down to the floor. And look, the group is doing just fine without her, just like with Dawn Robinson. The In Vogue was doing just fine without her being up in there. Lil Nas got Bell's palsy, poor guy. I had that too. I ain't know what was happening. Yeah, I didn't know either. Um, Also, speaking of Nas the rapper is coming out with a new album. I think DJ Premier is producing it. I was like, okay, I'm glad that somebody out here in their 50s is still making music. I would see you ask the same question. It was like, no, it's Ramsey Hunt. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a stroke. All them drugs he allegedly was doing. Yes, constant face stimulation is what helped me, I think. Did you leave the house when you had Bell's palsy? I don't know. I probably did. But yeah, but constant face stimulation, like I was doing all of this and moving my cheek and all the other stuff, and it definitely helped pull out of it. The Shade Room comments are all saying this is coming from playing with God. I mean, what else could I add? So it just goes to show that the Shade Room is. Did I say they was going to read her in the comment? Oh, I know what you're talking about. You talking about Lil Nas X? I thought you was talking about Latasha. They need to. They need to eat a bag of dicks on that. Because first of all, stop always. Oh, you was playing with God, and look what he did. First of all, if that was the case, he would have got it around the time he released Jay Christ. What are they talking about? And nine times out, half of y'all don't even believe in God to begin with. A lot of y'all like to use him as a damn shield. He posted an update 10 hours ago on his IG story. So I fear he never will be as famous as he was during Old Town Road or 2021, but you never know. He rubbed the wrong people. Yeah. But like I said, if you can consistently just be a little, stick to your little market and do your thing, and if you build your tribe brick by brick, then we'll see how it goes with that. But yeah, I just feel like after the whole Jay Christ situation, yeah, I think he did piss a lot of people off. I remember when he went to the doctor about it, he said, well, it's Bell's palsy. What do you want me to do? I was like, how you gonna tell somebody? I was like, it's Bell's palsy. What do you want me to do about it? I guess it's just a common thing that happens, and it's like you just gotta go through it. Daryl cases, I've had Bell's palsy before, and they're completely recoverable in most. I think some people it might be permanent, because I remember I had this friend Leo. May he rest in peace. Like I remember, like one side of his face, it was always like that. Like it was sloped a little bit. So I wonder if he had like a stroke, or if it was that he had Bell's palsy, whatever. So he might have been one of the ones. But you're saying that it's recoverable in most cases. I'm wondering, it was like, yeah, maybe I don't know if you fully recovered. But I'm fully recovered from mine, clearly, because you see I can move my facial, my face and stuff. Anyway, all right. So we got some good news for the trans community. I was going to do this story on J.K. Rowling, but I was like, I do not want this lady to put me, like, take my energy there. So I chopped that strong jawed bitch's story from this story or from today's show. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. Because she was going in on, she decided to leave the trans alone for once. It was going in on the asexual community. But anyway, so I want to give a shout out to Sophie. You know, she passed away. The producer who like did a lot of hyper pop beats and worked with a lot of iconic artists like Madonna, Lady Gaga, Charlie XCX, and the like. So, and I can't believe she's been dead for 4 years. Time really flies. So there's the Sophie Scholarship. She's getting her own scholarship, and it's going to help musicians who are trans and non-binary. So the Sophie Scholarship Fund has launched as a collaboration between nonprofit organization We Are Moving the Needle, which works to increase quality and inclusion in the music recording industry, and MSMSMSM Forever, a platform celebrating Sophie's legacy. Now, according to the scholarship, a post on the MSMSMSM Forever Instagram account reads, and I do have their post, so hold on as I pull that up. So we have that, and it says, announcing the scholarship, a post on the MSMSMSM Forever Instagram account reads, alongside at We Are Moving the Needle, we are proud to announce the scholarship fund in Sophie's name. Sophie was passionate about the future of music, and just like she did, we can't wait to see many more women, trans, and non-binary creators change the game. The one-time scholarship awards of between $5,000 and $10,000 will be available to apply for via the We Are Moving the Needle Scholarship and Grants Program. So the funding is open to women, trans, and non-binary music creators who are or will be enrolled in degrees in music production, audio engineering, sound technology, and other related fields in the 2025 or to 2026 academic year. The scholarship aims to help close the gender gap in the music industry and provide meaningful support to those wishing to enter the sector. Such support includes help toward tuition and fees and course-related expenses. Now, applicants must be U.S.-based citizens, and applications are accepted until April 27th. So now, music producer and DJ Sophie, also known as Sophie Zion, tragically died, age 34, in January of 2021 after falling off a roof in Athens, Greece, while trying to see the full moon. Now, throughout her career, Sophie was known for her boundary-pushing approach to electronic music production, becoming an early pioneer of the exaggerated pop genre, which a lot of you all know as hyperpop. So, she worked with some of music industry's biggest stars, including, as I've already mentioned, Madonna, Lady Gaga, and Rihanna, and an early support and collaborator of German trans pop star Kim Petras. Now, arguably, Sophie's most renowned collaboration was with Charlie XCX, with the pair working on Charlie's 2016 EP Vroom Vroom. The EP, which went further into experimental pop away from the mainstream pop on Charlie's XCX's sophomore record Sucker, saw Charlie's career take off in a new direction. It ultimately led to her most critically acclaimed work, including 2024's year-defining Brat. Now, on Brat, Charlie XCX paid tribute to her collaborator and friend Sophie on the song So I, which references Sophie's 2017 song It's Okay to Cry. Now, It's Okay to Cry was taken from Sophie's 2018 debut record Oil of Every Pearl's on Insides, which went on to be nominated for a Grammy Award in the Best Electronic Dance Album category. Now, in a sweet full circle moment, the most recent recipient of the Best Electronic Dance Album Grammy Award is Charlie XCX's Brat. Now, since her death, Sophie's legacy has remained imprinted in pop music, while musicians, including Carolyn Polachek and St. Vincent, have paid tribute to her on their songs. Sophie, a posthumous album by the British music creator, was released last September. I think her brother put the finishing touches on that record, featuring collaborations with Petra's, Hannah Diamond, Liz, and Jazzy. I know because I listened to it, so I'm very much well aware of Sophie's legacy and discography because I'm a fan of her music. Now, in November, Transa, an album promoting trans and non-binary awareness, which featured Sam Smith, Sade, and Hunter Schafer, was released. The album first began to take shape following Sophie's passing. So if you want any information on Sophie's Scholarship Fund, if you are someone who is trans and non-binary, and are interested in the situation, hold on, let me see if I can copy and paste it so that way y'all can possibly follow the website, because I would think that if you're interested, y'all could definitely put that up. I'm just about to put that in now. So it is wearemovingtheneedle.org. You can get the information if you're interested in signing up, because we definitely need more visibility in regards of creativity, artistic integrity, and that sort of thing. People of all different genders and things of that nature in this business. So I would definitely love to see we can get more trans and non-binary producers, songwriters, people who are creators in this, because I do feel like a lot more queer voices need to be heard and should be influential, and not only are like working with cisgender artists, but also working with queer artists like an Adam Lambert, like a Troye Sivan, like a Charlie X is a queer, but any other future queer or queer currently performing queer artists that they can work with. Not just the white ones, but the ones of color as well. And maybe even work with somebody like a Kesha or something. So yeah, so I definitely so I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this positive news? Because with all the negativity around trans people, I just wanted to show that there's something positive out here as well. So we don't want to just talk about the negative in regards to people trying to go in and throw shade or try to dismantle whatever the little bit of rights that trans people have in navigating the American space. So now we have the opportunity for trans and non-binary music creators getting to have a little money and incentive from the scholarship to help them make their dream come true. So I definitely want to hear from you all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. I was like, I gotta make sure all that is closed. Onyx says, I've been thinking about going back to school this entire week, and then this happens. And the great Sophie once said, electronic music. I mean, it is. I just hope that they could figure out how to mesh the worlds of like electronic and pop, because it's like the music is catching us about how do you bring that into the stage performance. And I think like there's some people who haven't figured that out yet, but I do think that we'll get there one of these days. But Sophie is definitely a pioneer. I love that whole crazy left of center hyper pop sound. And we see it going into the mainstream and see how farther they can evolve it. So it's funny you say, I was thinking about going to school and then this comes out. All right, y'all. So let's get into our final topic. Let's get into this Fire Island story. So, Fire Island, I definitely loved that movie when it came out. Hopefully the next time when we get the sequel, if it does happen, that we'll actually it'll get released in theaters rather than straight to Hulu. Which I didn't mind it being on straight to Hulu because I've watched the movie a couple of times, but yeah, it's pretty funny. So the director, Andrew Ahn, who has a new movie coming out, called The Wedding Banquet, and it's a remake of Ang Lee's cult classic rom-com. I think Kelly Marie Tran is in it, who I believe came out as a lesbian. So yeah, he directed that, but then they were asking him, a potential sequel for the queer rom-com. They called it a remake, but I was like, a remake? How you gonna remake a movie that's relatively new? But He said that it would take inspiration from Sex and the Cities and Just Like That, but gayer. Now, attention girls and gays, the cast and crew of Fire Island have been plotting a return to the Pines. Now, speaking with Entertainment Weekly about his upcoming remake of Ang Lee's cult classic rom-com The Wedding Banquet, director Andrew Ahn reveals that there's always been conversation about doing a sequel. Saying, "quote I don't know if a real concrete idea has been formed yet, but there are things in the ether." He teased, adding that writer and star Joel Kim Booster always jokes that it's going to be like Sex and the City reboot and Just Like That, where it's 30s years later and they're older and gayer. We'll see what happens, on ads with a laugh. And I'm sitting there like, well, I wouldn't mind if it actually, I mean, the gayer the better, but I was sitting there like older. I'm like, y'all not that old. And how would y'all age it up a bit? I guess I would have to work that out. But Fire Island was a loose adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, if y'all didn't know that. Now the film, the 2002 feature, gives a classic Jane Austen tale a modern spin, following a group of queer friends played by Booster, Bowen Yang, Zane Phillips, Mad Rogers, and Conrad Ricamora. Speaking of Zane Phillips, shout out to him because he was playing a closeted Mormon on an episode of that show. Damn, I always forget the name of that damn gay sitcom with Matt Bomer and Nathan Lane. So yeah, he did an episode. I'm looking at him, I was like, wait a minute, isn't that the dude from Fire Island? And then I read the credits and it was him. And also, Conrad Ricamora was in it from How to Get Away with Murder. And they said as they gather in the Fire Island Pines, a popular summer destination and haven for the queer community for a week of love and laughter. Now, Ricamora, who played Booster's character's Darcy as love interest, first teased a potential sequel last year, telling Out that the cast and crew were in a group chat and constantly spitballing ideas. Now, On confirms that the group remains close, saying that we are part of a group chat. It's nicknamed Pantry Girls after the Pines Pantry on Fire Island. We're so supportive of each other. It's such a great group. We had a big Fire Island reunion yesterday at the LA premiere of The Wedding Banquet. We're still in each other's lives. So April 18th, if y'all can, 2 days is when The Wedding Banquet comes out. It'll be interesting to see how well it does at the box office. It'll probably do cute, but you got some competition between what's that damn movie? Minecraft's damn near making $500 million so far worldwide at the box office. We have Sinners coming out this week. So there's a lot of stuff going on. As much as I would definitely love to check that out, I don't know. I'm probably gonna be seeing Sinners before I go see The Wedding Banquet. But yeah, we definitely need more queer representation, especially when it comes from the Asian community. So, and I liked Fire Island. I thought it was pretty funny. It was sexy. I like that the guys were just unapologetically themselves, and we don't see enough representation of queer people of color on the big screen and the small screen. So we definitely welcome it, especially in these dire damn times. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story, or would you be here for a Fire Island sequel? Me, I've always been itching. Like after I watched the movie a couple of times, I'm like, yes, we definitely need a Fire Island sequel, and hopefully it just opens the door for more films like Fire Island to get greenlit and for us to actually see and people to support. So let me know if you want to see a Fire Island sequel and where would you like to see. I guess they would have to come back to Fire Island, but they're a lot older. And like they said, they take the more and just like that approach, or maybe kind of just take the and just like that approach and not have it on Fire Island, bring it back to, New York. But then again, it would be Fire Island if they didn't go to Fire Island. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Speaking of Hulu, Soleil's documentary is on there, Kid 90. She also talked about when she got a breast reduction. Oh, yeah, because she had some tig old bitties back in the day. I remember that was a big deal where she was walking around with these big breasts is, but it's not her fault. She well endowed in the top department. Who chat? All right. I feel like I'm getting sick because it's been like today was crazy windy in New York. And I went out when I went to walk my dogs, I just had like a hoodie on and I was like, oh, this is not good. So I feel like going back in the house and getting something thicker. But yeah, this weather's been going up and down. I'm like, okay, it's spring. Can we start getting some warm weather? Can we start getting like 70s weather, 80s weather? I remember my father was telling me when he was in Atlanta, like they were getting like 80-degree weather already. And it's like, yeah, New York, we still out here freezing with these crazy winds. Philip says if they go the direction of older gays, the only older gay Asian I can think of is George Takei. Maybe he could play one of their friends. They're not that old though. Like when I look at, when you look at Bowen Yang and Joel Kim Booster and the whole cast, they all were like aren't they on like in their late 20s, early to mid 30s? So I don't know how old do they want to play it. Like if you're trying to go 40 plus, it's not going to be convincing. So it'd be cute to see like how they can create a sequel to it and make it more funny, and interesting. But that's to be determined. But yeah, I'm looking at my watch. It says it's like 52 degrees outside, and windy, gusty windy. All right, y'all. So we're at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, once again, please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I will be back on tomorrow with a brand new episode, with brand new team, brand new topics, and a whole lot of mess. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for those of you who were in the live chat with me, Kikin, for these 2.5 hours of this messy show. And like I said, love you all for watching. Thank you for being here and supporting the show consistently. And until next time, ciao, darlings.